giveaways up for pretty much the more or less
Oh, pasok
total
di air.
we've seen out of them for quite some time. Especially on a map like Cash, which is already T favorite map.
Yeah, that's the problem because in when you look at the team, you would expect them to be very strong on the CT
They
side.
should
They
be.
Ya tamu
have,
apa mas?
great
Oke.
a great mid
Aku
round
di peluru
brawler. They
nih.
have great individual players.
Ya mas, tak share
as
Discord
well,
mas.
but, you know, for some reason things just aren't clicking. I think it would be very beneficial if they won some pistols.
Yeah, no, that would help.
That certainly would help. The fact that they're even here after losing
Ada ini
a
today.
full 6 pistol
Yeah.
rounds in their best of 3. G2 certainly knows where some of their problems lie. It's very clear for us and them to see. And now, gentlemen, it's tough. It's the tough
Whoa.
one. Predictions have been relatively easy at times.
Wow.
Ngene iki tapi ning nggon karo mlebu kok ya.
Yeah, Yanko, does this
Yang
one
nggon Discord mlebu ning nggon YouTube ya.
relatively quick.
Not
Iya dah, langsung
necessarily.
klik.
I do believe if
Wih,
G2 is
nongol
going
YouTube
to
tuh, Mas.
have to be at
Heeh.
them taking cash away from NIP as well, but I think NIP is going to pull through in this series 2-1. I don't think they're going to take Inferno, but on cash and New two strongest maps.
Yeah,
Ayo,
the
geser,
East
Bang.
towards the Swedes.
Yuk.
Jacob, nice and quick.
I think G2 is going to surprise everyone here. Their hyper aggressive style,
Untuk
especially on the CT
kenceng-kencengan
side, is Cash is one of the maps that
Lu grab
can
it,
carry that, you know. And I think G2 is going to take
Kurang,
Cash
bro.
from NIP, despite from
Yo,
Cash being their
lurus
fault
ya,
for
Bang.
pretty much forever. It's going to be a 2-0 for G2.
G2 going to be the crowd pleasers.
No.
How
Yeah,
about
no.
you, Havo?
I'm at the same boat as Yanko. I like the maps for NIP. I
Look at
think
that
they should be able to make it to a third. And that's where they're going to show their strength once more.
Full free mapper for the majority of us here on the panel. In fact, I'm going to jump on board the NIP hype train as well. But I do think all
Side
three,
move, Romas.
and we get to see it end in a very explosive
Mhm.
last map. I can't wait to
Mhm.
get the casters involved in this one. There has been a bit of a
Energy
change up.
drinkmu?
We have got a new face of the caster desk. Henry G
Betul, Nera?
is RIP for now,
That's how
and
it should
unfortunately we're forced to listen to chat. Hey man,
Yep.
thanks for stepping in, and Sadicus is joining us.
I got a call on the bat phone this morning. Jumped out of bed, ran on over. Here I am.
I have to ask you an important question though, Chad, because you technically are still an analyst in this event, which means your prediction.
Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Wah,
You've
Alex.
got to make one right now.
2-0 G2.
Satu.
All right.
Ooh.
Going against the
Oke,
crowd.
I did it yesterday.
Inciting the violence.
What about today, Matt?
You know
Relax,
what?
Matt, relax.
Though today, after that series and the passion of the crowd, I'm on their side. I lied. I
He
love you,
was-
Swedes.
was-
Go NIP.
Okay, he believes.
Yeah.
Iya.
I'll leave you to it, guys.
All right, don't worry about it. Thank you. It's gonna be a great series. NIP versus any French roster has always been a classic. A lot of these guys go way back.
Tapi engko rodok
French
lemot,
roster
Mas,
has known
rodok
that
suwi, Mas,
rivalry
nang
forever.
YouTube.
I think NIP has the
Gila,
better
Mas.
teamwork right
Gila.
now. I think G2 to me is still struggling. I think the series yesterday, losing all 6 pistols, they were almost gifted that series from SK.
Yeah, and it was on the back of Apex having an amazing performance, right? So that definitely carried them through that matchup. But I think coming into this one, G2 have the stars. They have the star power, and they're going to fire up in this one and really take it to NIP, who, you know, they have had the victories, but it hasn't been as convincing against opponents who are of this caliber as of yet.
Yeah, it's that is a tough order. Again, Shocks,
Wah,
Kenny, you're right.
Inferno,
They have the
Chace,
firepower. They can
Nuka.
definitely jump out at any time and take control of the game. The fact that we start out, I kind of agree
Inferno
with. I
ini
think it was
kita
Yanko that said it, or it might have been Howard.
Raci,
Wasn't paying attention.
Inferno.
I apologize. It's early.
One of the Europeans.
One of them said if they're going to win it, it's going to be 2-0, and I kind of agree with that. I think that if G2 are able to take cash, it's possible. Inferno's their map. If they get that and
Hey,
they get
I'm
on
with you.
cash, that
So
they've
you-
always
okay,
given
Marcus.
NIP trouble. If you go back to the envious days, 2015, when you know the French side was playing at their sort of their peak, I guess, if you will. That was sort of the French era, if we want to give them one. They were rushing so fast against NIP and Cash that they were never able to set anything up, and they know that. They're going to remember that. Kenny's going to remember it. Apex has always been very good at rotating with the rifle against NIP in middle, so it's a possibility that they can actually sneak that map away. So NIP does have to be cautious in the opening part of this series, absolutely. If they can get,
Oh,
excuse me, not
Inferno.
some Inferno right off the bat, I think that they've got the series.
Yeah, I've had the luxury of getting to watch G2 a little bit on Inferno earlier in Pro League, and they had some really cool moves. I know NK, he was liking the tweet that I was making about them having some really sick CT plays, actually taking the initiative and
Mas, Mas.
regaining
Tak
banana
susul.
control late into rounds. So those kind of
Bisa
plays are going to
murah.
play into
Wes.
the hands of G2 because NIP,
Aku
we know they
sedang-
like to set up, we know
Ya,
they like
mari.
those executes. They have some really cool plays, and if the guys from
Blending.
G2 are able to poke and prod and make their life very difficult, it's going to be
Body.
hard to set up those executes. The thread has probably been working very tirelessly on getting
Gary
down to
King ya, Mas.
perfection.
Pak, Gary King
I
ya, Mas.
can't. It's just that G2 picking this map, it
Bakal,
just feels
kayak
like
Harry Kane.
them
Apa,
being
Mas?
confident on this map for me is
Motor,
just going to really
mana
rip
lah?
NIP apart because the map for me for NIP was going to need to come down to something a little bit earlier in the pool for them. Maybe if G2 had slipped up and I don't know, for some reason been cocky on Mirage, you know,
Yeah,
done
yeah.
something a little bit random. But I'm just leaning towards G2 early. I guess we know they're not a morning team, Matt. We know they've had issues
Yes.
with that. They've dispelled that so far this tournament.
They have. I think that was also
Look.
a while ago. There was. Oh, I'll just say it. I like a few drinks. There was a time and period when
They
I
love
used
a
to
good
see
wine.
them. Exactly.
Yeah.
See them out at the bar
Right.
every now and then. That's days gone way by. That's like also 2015
Ini visible.
time of our calendar. It's been a while, by the way. We're hit the
Tapi
5-year
raket tau loh
anniversary
gini.
for CS:GO.
Ora. Ngene
They hit
era ketok
confetti
kok.
when you defuse the bomb. I really wanted George Michael.
Iya,
I've
iya.
never made it to a 5-year anniversary.
I've never made it
Nek
to like a
lawan bini
3-week
mencolok lagi
anniversary,
ketok sih.
so don't worry about it.
I think the longest I did was 3. I don't remember the
Masih
dates.
enak ngene wong Mas Boy kuwi ireng kuwi.
You're doing better than I.
Do you reckon we get flowers? Do we give Valve flowers, or do Valve give us all flowers?
I'd like flowers from Valve.
Wih,
I think they should
enak
give me
tenan
flowers.
Mas.
What do you
Kan
reckon
ada
Gabe's
motor.
favorite flower is?
I mean, I'm usually
Neng
on the
Nita ya?
bottom with them these days, so
Yo.
if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
The way they update the game. Gabe's favorite flower is probably a tulip.
Yo.
Don't ask me why.
I had no idea. I was going to say sunflower because he's
That's not my
the beacon of
style.
light.
Dan
for esports.
KDR
I
1,73.
like that. That's
Yeah.
not bad. We do have a
Sangat
small
banget.
issue with Get Right's PC, just to give everyone an
Teriakan.
idea of what's going on right now. So he's trying to jump back into the game. I don't
Teriakan
know if
wingi
there's
flicknya
swapping or if
sangar
it's
ya.
just a small
Apik,
issue. I
Mas.
can actually
Ikut
get
the next scanning S
specific
kok.
update. Yeah, talk to me about that because we've had injuries in the past for
Yeah.
people's wrists. Guardian obviously had one going on. Olaf,
KDR lo
Ramstein,
Mas
both were
1,7
injured. Is this a
ngeri.
muscle contraction?
Could be one of two things. That could just be preventative. He could be like, hey, you
Full
know,
tank
maybe a
mass,
little bit
yang
of
kaitan lagi.
soreness. This is going to help in long best of threes, or when I play, you know, to relieve a bit of the pain. But when you look at it for Guardian, Olaf, those kind of guys, even Azza in my team, he had wrist issues. We had to take him out to some back street place in Las Vegas to get his wrist fixed
That
because
sounds
we're
sketchy.
dodgy
Wah,
Australians.
iki ono sing anu, thanks for
and, you know,
60
these kind of
FPS,
issues,
no
they
other
can
streamer
plague players for a
streaming
very long time,
FPS.
especially if you're not looking after it. And you don't
Thank
even
you,
think
bro.
about it, right? We all sit there, we all play computer games for
Ngapa?
8 hours a day. And these
Ora,
guys
iki
are
ono
playing
wong
especially at
online.
this level, using such low
Mas
sensitivity.
Tur nuwun.
RSI is
FPS ku ngasih
obviously
swidak
an
nu lho,
issue.
Mas.
My wrist started to get
Yang gue di
sore,
YouTube
you
ya.
know, the longer and longer I would deathmatch. So for these guys, just to remove that muscle soreness, that could, like I said, we don't know if that's an actual injury that's set in for body,
Yeah.
or if he's just trying to prevent anything from actually happening, which is
Wah,
better way to
boncengan
do it,
karo
because he's
cewek,
still a
ih.
young lad, isn't he?
Enak
Yeah,
Yihi.
don't ask me
Mesra.
his exact age, but he's definitely one of the
Rem
younger guys
dulu,
on the roster for
asik.
G2. It is just those basically hold your muscles
Tapi
in
nggak lepas
contraction
ya?
and help you take some of the stress off of the muscle itself. It does some of the work for you. It's how they're supposed to work those large bandages. A lot of people wear them like Achilles tendons and they get tight or stiff. Just to note, we saw Get Right headset back on. Should be getting underway any second. It's also good though because it's the first game in the morning and doors only opened a moment ago, a
Yeah.
hot minute. So fans still funneling in. We'll get all the NIP fans here, which I'm sure G2 will love.
I know Henry's probably really interested to know.
Oh,
You'll be
really?
watching from
Kamu
bed, but the
jalan
server
sendiri ya?
conditions are looking fine as the countdown
Yoho.
begins. 5 seconds, Matthew.
Well, this is it.
Mas?
Kok
A
sih Mas
classic
delok peta sih
matchup,
aku.
Malmo.
Oh.
The defending champions knocked off the team that met them in the final last year in Na'Vi, and they have a challenge against former foes in G2, who, by the way, are starting out on the CT side.
Waduh,
Where you
waduh,
want
sorry
to
Mas.
be?
Santai Mas.
I'm going to expect early aggression coming out from G2 here. I know they love the run across mid, jump across the boiler room, check for any second mid
Main nang
information.
dhuwur ae
See
ra
if that's
apa.
going to come out from Shox, who appears to have the spawn. We got CZ on Exist and the Flash, so not a lot of utility for the team in the first round. Kenny's going to
Aduh,
spot some
tipu
down
nih.
mid and backing off
Mobil.
early, as all of the NIP players are making
Ya,
their up to
semoga
mid
kena ya,
corridor
Mas.
really quickly.
This, by the way, went on to a CZ without armor. It doesn't matter if the headshots hit because
Promotor
body
ya,
hits two of them.
Yeah.
Get Right. Getting him back, gets taken down by Shox as they swing back in middle. So Rez, yesterday was excellent on pistol rounds, has to try and save them again. Back through the archway. He knows Apex is near the spawn, but not quite in the corner behind the pillar. A good position, bomb down, no wrap potential to be, and it's all to Draken. At least gets onto a silence
Alah,
speed, gives him some
motor
accuracy and
jatuh.
range to work with. He's got bomb back in his hands. But a
Ya,
lot of
tarik
distance to
wetangnya.
cover. And not going to get much of it at
Shock.
all. Shox takes him down. Good start, G2 on the pistol. And look at this. Apex is already going to try and play the crowd.
Nice and clean there from the boys
Very
from
nice.
G2. That was fast pace from NIPs. You know, early on, first pistol round of the day in the morning, you want to keep it quick. You want to try and get those frags flowing. Wasn't to be. Body standing strong at the
peluru.
quad side. Two nice opening frags
Dia
there,
bilang.
and the rest of the boys are able to
Dia
clean
bilang.
it up. And
Dia.
going into this one,
Pen
they've
killer
opted for a
dia
bit of a... I wouldn't go
no.
as far as saying
Ya,
it's
tak kayak.
an all-out force buy, because we've... Oh, no, there we go. He just finally
Bonus
put up. Exist didn't have that armor. They've done it. They've gone with the force buy. Once again, no Tech 9s. Don't know how I feel about that, but we'll settle in. Smoke on Get Right, smoke on Rez. So maybe an execute in mind for the late round after they wait out any early CT aggression, which isn't going to come in, but Shox with his
Bonus tadi,
patented MP9 in hand.
Seen a lot of the MP9 this weekend. Fur, most notably,
Loves a bit of it.
does. But then when he gets the M4, decides to rush.
Di
So
batu clear ya.
interesting.
Lots of
Kurang
map
orang.
territory being given up by G2
That
early
pun
here,
itu.
Matt. You know, you've got the two
Mas,
players in B,
thank you,
Apex, MPK sitting all the way back. Shox is in the archway, Kenny in the pit, and Body on the balcony.
Oh,
So
tak
any
pindah
executes
sebelah ya,
that
Mas.
come in, they're going to have no early information Right now, NIP are taking that banana control slowly. They still have the smokes up and 2 flushes. It looks like they're posturing for a B hit at this point, and an early rotation has come in from Shox. They've read this one well.
He's got a chance to peek it. He's actually going to get in their face. No, don't tell about the cubby because they had no vision of top. Banana doesn't want to walk into a crossfire, but goes aggressively, and it's Get Right that actually wins the exchange. Now, it's just an MP9 picked up, but it's something to add to their arsenal. In fact, they give it to Exist, who's got a little bit better off on the HP than Get Right is after the exchange. Draken can find the shot with a deagle. Might be an opening.
It slows down now, but MPK shouldn't have taken that fight. He should have let them rush into the site. As soon as you get that opening frag on the B site, you're only expecting one more opponent to be in there. And taking that duel has made them slow down. It stopped the rotation, and now they're heading back to A, where only Kenny and Body have anchored down in pit.
Double pit as well. They both have the rifles, which gives them a chance toward quad. But as soon as Kenny peeks, he feels pressure from apartments and looks back that direction. Body thankfully has the angle held when they wrap around, and Kenny sets for it. Body, I have to say, Body's very good in pit, so keep an eye on that throughout the course of the game. Apex is back in position, and it's 2-0 G2.
That's classic right there. That's what you want to do when you split up in a when you're down in a disadvantage on the CT side. You want to give up that arch side, you know, especially with pistols. If they're going to go through CT spawn, they're going to come at you from the wrap side. They're going to come at you from mid to B, and you're in the bomb sites and you're bunkered down. You have the advantage of those rifles, and that's what we saw come out there. Kenny looking a little bit shaky, but finally converted, and now we have a full eco coming in from NIP. This is where I'm going to expect a bit more aggression, a bit more facing out of the boys from G2. Here we go, banana aggression from MBK. He's got that UMP in hand, wants to milk some cash, farm it up early and get that bank going. But as you like to put it, Matt, I hope they can hold on to these rifles and pull out a Jaden round, because that's always very effective on the CT side of this map. You can close down banana, you can use those Molotovs, you can take some really big gambles. And P9 striking.
I'll call it diggity just to pay you back.
Oh, that's very nice.
Apex does push back out. You're right, the MP9 strikes. Trying to farm up some cash. Apex jumps down, make sure he's already firing before he lands. The shot's in, and they've got bomb down at the stairwell. They know where it is. It's just a matter of procedure at this point in time. So 3-0 is how we're going to start this game. Money on the NIP side. Obviously, they'll have it. Question is, do they get toward? As Forrest finds a few kills, get toward the AWP. They're just shy. So Forrest has 4650. Draken's a little bit less at 4200, but no one can able to buy it, drop it over toward him. They'll go with the rifles straight up.
Yeah, Shock should probably buy an AWP right here and drop it across to Kenny, which...
He bought it himself.
Yeah, okay. I just thought that maybe that would be a good decision, but that wasn't to be. But it doesn't matter. We got that AWP in the hands of the Wizard himself. The Magic Stick wielding bad boy is going to take a pick at mid here and doesn't have an AWP to go up against. Like you said, he does spot one jumping into mini pit, but Draken's going to step out and take him down. That's a great opening for NIP early.
Perfect shot. Get Kenny gone already. They have a double up setup that they can run on this map. They've got other players who could wield the weapon if they can get toward it. BK with the UMP sits well back. Timid. He's not encouraged to try and push back down Banana, but Shox will get to the AWP, and that had to be the goal, and Draken knows it. So he'll make the call that the AWP is toward the arch, at least for now. They won't know if it stays there, but they'll be more timid and cautious of their approach.
They need to keep Shox active right now. You are in a man disadvantage. You can't just sit in the bomb sites because you can get executed on in this situation and your defense is spread. Your utility is going to just disappear very, very quickly while you try to delay. What they need to do is set Shox up, do a pop flash, get him out there finding information or a frag to even this one up as quickly as humanly possible. NIP, they're not giving away anything. They're sitting right back. They're running down the clock. They're allowing this utility to be used. But MBK, he's jumping over that wall. We'll use the smoke very defensively. This is going to give the banana to NIP, and this is what they want.
They are rotating Shox, so you are giving the banana away without utility, but Shox will at least have the AWP in B. And be ready. Oh, that boost, Draken.
They have mid-wall as well here, Matt. You know, the NIP having mid-wall and banana, it means they can easily fake, they can easily execute, they can play the rotations. We need this. We need a gamble, and the gamble has come in. G2 have stacked over towards the B bomb site. They've got 3 players over there right now.
And it's a gamble that may pay off as well, because Get Right's going back that direction with 18 seconds. They're going to go. Shox has to pick up Kenny's op and make best work of it. Smoke comes down, so he'll lose his vision and the first chance of the shot, but he goes back and still finds Draken. MBK boosted up on top of Orange's 1. He's able to find 2 with the UMP, but eventually it is all solved. This is what you were talking about. They didn't know. No. They didn't know Apex was there, and yet he whiffs. So NIP get the site, even though it was stacked and against them. They do so with low HP on Forest, but it's double AK set. And 2 kits, AWP and FAMAS for body, which is sufficient against Forest, even with the armor, and with Exist going down to 13 HP. But he finds the win against body. Luckily, the call's been made there low. The pistol could be enough for Shox, but Exist holds the angle on him as well.
You could be confused, Matt, but think we're watching some silvers right there. That was some of the worst aim I think I've seen all week. Apex and Body whipping sitters, absolute sitters. And the round is gifted to NIP as they pick that one up. A fantastic call, a fantastic rotation, a great gamble. G2 did what they needed to do. They made the frags, and then Apex and Body thought, nah, we'll just miss some easy shots. As they are going to be able to put together another buy, G2. They need to stop NIP here. This is how they can really start to hamper and hurt their economy and the lead. And on the flip side of that, if NIP pick this one up, G2 are going to be struggling.
Yeah, both teams are at break points. Kenny back on the AWP. Held the SMGs, as you said, another buy. He's able to get the kill this time. So reverse of last time, he went down first. This time he finds Forrest. Get Right is still going to pursue. Aggressive toward apartments as well, considering he's got no support. There's no one else even in Boiler. There's no one in a position to flash him out. He's just going to hold the position and hope that no one peeks, in fact, backs off it, which is probably the better call.
Banana control being taken once more. They're not trying to play too transitional. They're not playing too aggressive, the boys from G2. They're giving it up relatively easily. And with that in mind, NIP have a lot of map control right now. They know Boiler was clear. They can have mid-wall if they want. There's no presence there at all. And it looks like it's going to be another banana hit as the bomb is making its way over there to group up with the rest of the squad. Have enough utility for a decent attack, but they're going to rely on hitting their shots again, or G2 missing theirs.
So again, Banana, this time a man down, but one less in the sight to contend with. So does that equal odds? I'm not sure. Apex behind the smoke. Wants them to go aggressive. Get Right smoke, don't need to tell you. Is already aimed towards CT. That one's easy to figure out. Apex knows there's a timer on the one in front of him. He backs off accordingly. NBK, Emo, and Oranges 2, not new box. Keep in mind for Apex. So if they find the angle and they get past NBK, he's going to be sitting in the open, but they haven't gotten past NBK, and it looks like they will not. Eventually, Apex decides to go out when he reloads. Doesn't need to control the peak, but Body's there. And Kraken, well, at least sitting like a turret, will find Shocks. Hang on. This young man has been very good all weekend, guys. Let's not give away any economy because it's still fragile, but they pick up the round crucially, and that's going to leave NIP on the back foot, at least with an AWP.
The key there, Matt, is you don't want to lose any more than 2 players. If you lose that third man, like we saw just go down, it makes it much harder to drop guns in this situation. Now, I know the iteration of Counter-Strike we're dealing with, people can buy the UMP. NBK is going to be the one doing that. Shox is going to pick up an MP9. They're going against the Force buy off the back of that saved AWP, so this is really scary. The weapon situation doesn't look as dire as it could be for NIP, and Draken making his way very quickly up mid. They know that was coming. The smoke's come in. He's taken a blind shot through the smoke. He'll have to drop back and find another duel elsewhere. Looks like they want to take over Boiler very quickly, and Kenny's going to have some angry ninjas in his face very soon.
Oh, that is fast.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Think you get pretty high if you did. That's quite a shot from Kenny. Down toward apartments, they'll still pursue with Get Right again, but it's, as you call it, the mid-wall, top mid that they occupy with Rez. Smoke down, Shocks inside of Cubby. It'll be very hard for Rez to do anything with this position, especially with Apex sitting inside of the arch. Even if he gets one, even if he hits a lovely one, Deeg, he's immediately going to be taken out and traded. As I say that, Apex decides he would rather help Kenny inside of the site. They go around, but Shocks lines up and gets at least one. Apex finds the other, does get double with the MP9 eventually, so good money gained. And again, it's Draken with the hop that was saved that's going to try desperately to do so again.
3 is that magic number, Matt. If they want to chase him and they give away another 2 deaths, the money situation for G2 is still going to be, as I like to put it, in the bin. But they are going to find him. Nathan's going to take him down. NBK with the frag. They don't need that AWP, because Kenny already had one, but they are going to opt for the double AWP. So this is where we're going to see NBK on that secondary AWPing position, I suppose. Interesting changes, you know? It was Shocks doing it, and I wasn't a fan of that. I think he can be a lot more beneficial for the squad with the rifles in hand, and now Nathan's taking it on.
I like the call from Shocks to go back to the MP9 knowing the economy is low as well, because the double up set up against pistols, if they get overrun, okay, yes, they're big guns, but it's a scary thought to lose economy to just Glocks. And 0 purchases at all from NIP. So the MP9 is lethal, and he's getting aggressive with it as well. That range is a bit of a problem because he's used a lot of ammunition, has to get a reload in, manages to do so. He gets an ace with an MP9. I'm going to start buying it more often, Chad. What a gun.
He's the bank for the team right now, man. You know, all he's doing is putting those pennies aside for a rainy day when they need to bring out an AWP for Kenny at some point. And speaking of the man, he'll finish off with the CZ there. Give himself a nice little $100 bonus to end the round. When I say nice $100 bonus, I mean that kind of sucks. You only get $100.
Just to point out as well, Body isn't the only one wearing that large wrist bandage. Shox has one as well, so I'm going to guess with 2 of them wearing it, maybe it is preventative. Maybe the team's taking some measures to make sure it's not an issue, which is smart because we know it has been. Either way, back to the op for Drake and back to the guns for NIP. 4 rifles, all AKs. Smokes, there's 3 of them and 1 Molotov to work with for Rez. So not the best utility in the world. Look for the pick strategy, which works because Drake already finds one. Kenny, he's in a bit of trouble because he's gone down toward alt mid very aggressively, and no one to support Forrest is able to get the kill immediately.
What was he doing?
Don't ask Kenny questions. He does. Kenny does as Kenny does.
All right, so G2 throwing themselves at the terrorist. Maybe they thought they were on the T side. Going to give away 4 frags and 5 for free as Rez is getting on the board now. That's 2 kills for him in that round. He's going to pick it up a little bit there. He was struggling until this point. Still early days, but let's take a bit of time to warm up in the mornings, as we all know. I think right now, G2 need to just take a deep breath because that level of aggression was probably unnecessary. I don't know if MBK needs to be going for the AWP. This is very stubborn. They don't need to be going for this style, right? Drake, and we know he hits these flicks. You saw the thing on Reddit? That's just kind of how he does it. So you don't need to be dueling him. It's not necessary. And I don't think MBK having an AWP, he's not a primary AWPer. He's not someone who should be taking on a guy as flashy as Drake, and who is going to make his way very quickly into apartments here. And he might catch Body sleeping.
He's not going to push through just yet. In fact, he may. Oh, look at Shox, who's climbing up. Oh, the flick. It doesn't land that time. Shox with an MP9 wins the duel. Get Right grabs the AWP so as not to leave it near the site. Keep in mind, NIP winning the last round. Yes, it's a 3-round reset potential, but they kept all 5 up, which gives them a chance in the next as well. More so with a bomb plant. Body will smoke off the apartments. Bomb, speaking of it, is all the way back toward T-spawn. Rez will run back to grab it now. No pressure on Banana at all from NIP this round.
Yeah, the biggest penetrating factor that the boys from NIP have is gone. Draken taken down early to a jumping MP9, and now they have to salvage the round. I don't think anybody on NIP having the AWP in this situation is ideal. T-side Inferno, it's hard to make entries happen, but Forrest is going to wield it as they throw some smokes towards that A-bomb side. It looks like they want to be hitting towards that quad side.
Kenny smokes. Actually, almost interestingly positioned to allow him to play Graveyard. His one factor that he has to watch is the wrap at Arch. Shox is rotated around. Gone down. Kenny, he's hidden though, and we know he's lethal close range. If you give him an inch, he'll take, all of it, but he misses by an inch. Misses by an inch, but goes back for more. They still haven't found him. Now they will. Exist has the angle from the pit. And Rez found 2. You said it. He's heating up inside of the site. He'll allow the bomb plant with his great work, as MBK has to consider his chances with just 1 single AWP and money that is finally withered away. Body is 4,900, the rest around 2 grand or less. And that should signal for a save. Likewise, just to finish, they know that this is a reset for NIP, so every gun, it'll be a 2nd round in a row, but every gun MBK gets down is also costly.
I just think they need to take a pause right now and tell MBK to stop buying the AWP. It's not necessary. You can see how difficult it is for him to even attempt a retake with it in this situation. Obviously, he's going to drop that across to Kenny. Uncharacteristically, Kenny missing what we would consider a sitter for him. He looked a little bit shaky as well with the Famous in the pit on one of those eco or force buy rounds earlier on in this first half. So maybe a few jitters for him early.
You're not as fun as Henry when that explosion goes off. He tends to be startled every time.
I come from the land down under.
That's just the Australian thunder then. It's just the exact same noise.
Yeah, used to it. Still winter. Oh no, it's spring now.
Speaking of Henry G, can we all get the hashtag get well soon Henry? Can we come up with something better than that?
Probably.
Rest easy, Hank. Hashtag rest easy, Hank. I'm good with that one. Or just at Henry G, hashtag rest easy.
Here's the pause they needed. This is what I love to see. They're probably wishing Henry well right now. But I think they just need to adjust, go back to what they were doing in the earlier gun rounds. I think the double AWP. Oh, we're seeing it again. Kenny has an AWP. Why is this?
So interestingly enough, Henry and I actually talked about it. So Shox goes back to his MP9. Dear God.
What is happening?
But, double ops and an MP9. Sure, fair enough. But we talked about this, and Henry was actually encouraged because he said coming into this in Pro League they hadn't been using the double op as much, and he liked it because he knew that they were relying on it too much early on when Inferno came back in. They've used it a lot already this game, which is concerning. They have a 6-3 lead, fair enough, but their money could be absolutely destroyed this round.
To justify it to some degree, 2 AWPs is great because you can pick off the players from NIP and not allow them to be able to set up into their executes. But they were doing fantastically with reads. They were holding the bomb sites very well. The first gun round they lost was because Body whiffed and Apex whiffed, right? That's the only reason they've kind of found themselves in this scenario. Shox continuing on the MP9. Sure, he's got a lot of kills. That's fantastic. But it's not, he's not going to win a round with that, right? Like, he might get one and done. It's not enough. now they've kind of given NIP a lifeline here as they have taken banana control once more, and it looks like with all 3 members already near the top of banana, it could be a bit of a fake. It looks like they want to bet out any utility that G2 may have. Molotovs are coming in, smokes and flashes, chicken explodes.
Mas boy.
With confetti.
Langsung easy
Still on charge,
money.
Michael.
But see, right now,
Hello, Mas,
G2 are too
hello.
scared to take a
Hello,
risk because
10.000
NIP have been
rupiah.
defaulting a lot of the time. They've been
Sponsor
getting that boiler
by-
control, that horse control, and you can see how far back, if you look at the mini-map, the rest of the
skin apa
G2
lagi?
players are towards that A
Mas-
site. We are seeing
Mas, boy.
another
Yoi.
Shox
Monitor
cheating
kan
over,
dia
I believe it is.
Yeah,
Papat.
MP9.
Yeah, so they have the read, they have the stack again.
Penaan
And,
di kali Jowi.
it looks like the beer
Podo
tank's
ae
coming
mas. Wong
If he gets kills
40
again with that gun
kabeh.
against armor, I'm...
Enggak,
Oh,
maksudnya-
right, it was Apex. I was going to say, I will just be
tampilannya enak.
eating
Yo,
everything.
podo ae ya.
Aside from my proverbial hat, I've done that too many times. He will go back in to try and catch off NIP with a push. Get right, still working inside of the site. Apex knows he's Molotov'd out. He sits in the flames, and Draken has an easy shot as a result of it. Shox is still in behind the smoke. Get right will babysit and watch as it dissolves bomb to be planted at default. And the rotation's just arriving body. Next in line, has to get closer, Shox. He does still find one with the MP9, fair enough. But watch out, because Draken goes close. He can't find the angle. Body's in position. It's all down to Get Right. Can't find the spray on the first, and he's on to 4
Mas.
HP. The retake
Semua
from
tak
G2.
sopo.
Tak dol neng opskin.
With an MP9 in the mix,
Oh, no,
it's going to be
opskin.
successful.
Kita carane
Find round
anu.
7.
Can he just get a real
Yo di sell wae dihubungke karo akun Steammu.
Oh, engko yo. Dadine wallet tos, wallet tos.
Ora, yo akun ning nggon opskin. Oh kan jebuk kayak ono transaksi trade ngono gitu lho.
Oh. Dadi piro, Mas? Nang Steam piro, nang anu piro?
Luwih murah nek opskin Mas sing jelas.
Luwih murah, mesti?
Ngedol karo tukune luwih murah nek opskin.
Oh.
Cuman kan sudah di duit, iya toh.
Iya. Gunamu nang Steam rego piro? Nang opskin piro?
Iku mau payu $75. Neng Steam 1.400.000, nek 1.300.000. Pengke 13.000 piro berarti. Ya emang akeh kan, Mas? Makanya kan nak tuku murah neng nggon opskin. Cuman kan neng Steam kan ra iso dadi duit.
Iya sih.
Ngalahi kan penting tok duit, Mas.
Piro? $75.
Piro berarti?
Piro pengke?
Sak yutonan berarti. Sak yuto 100-an lah kecek 200. Cuma langsung tak tukokno sing kuwi bayonet sing kuwi apa? Gamba kuwi mau.
Nombok piro?
Nomboke $100.
Buh, larang yo.
Emang larang iku, Mas? Doubler. Aku meh tuku butterfly tapi wah, butterfly iki malah ra konsen ya, dolanan terus ya malahan.
It just means that the whole map is basically yours. The CTs just have to sit in the bomb site and wait, and then they have to hope they hit their shots.
Ngono aku tak iklan kireng market tok.
They've stampeded all the way up to the top of banana.
Unjuk tukune saka market ya.
Iku salah semok iku.
MBK is going to be relaying that information.
Alah,
Two
kurang step.
rotations are going to come in, and once more it looks like another B attack.
Wah, delay ya, Mas, nang kene, Mas.
The NIP squad.
Delay aduh, Mas.
5 seconds left on the clock.
MBK spotted immediately. Get right and Forrest find the entrances. Smokes down. The boost though. Shox
Oke,
is still
Steam
there.
Store
They
ya?
check it fast
Apa?
enough. The bomb gets
Sell
stopped
ya, gitu?
temporarily, and also with enough time for Shox to rotate to ruins. A menacing position.
Alah,
with
salah flash.
better utility. He could have been in position to try and take the fight, but he still finds
Steam
it
sale.
against Forrest despite the missed flash. The bomb does go down, so there's still a chance, and I think it'll hold it off Draken. Has been
Tak
able to
lumpuke
hold
sik,
it.
Mas, sesuk golek
Slide
meneh.
across toward the
Ora.
cutout. The AWP will be perfectly
Kita iki boros kuota
positioned.
apa ya?
Not only that, he's throwing
Oh,
a
boy.
flash toward ruins, so it
Iya,
would
iya.
slow down the push. Instead, though, they want the smoke. They're going to go through it. Draken's got to be very careful not to be caught out. And he knows there's going to be two there now because the calls come in that they've reboosted Shox up. So Draken, a great first shot to find body.
Miss.
But apparently, Shox is in the fight.
Keren dah, Shox.
And gets another defuse. 8-3 now for
Telo
G2.
ora tau main meneh yo.
Matt, what is going on? Shox has 17 kills. The closest on his team has 7. He's getting a lot done. I'm criticizing the man for the MP9. He's running around the map doing everything, gets that retake
Sampai nonton ning YouTube
on
tuh,
his
Mas.
own.
I would
Aku
wonder
nak
if
ngomong,
this
mlebu
17
dak
kills
suaranya
might
ya?
be the biggest amount
Mlebu.
of surplus gained from 17 kills,
Gagu.
having used the MP9 too much.
Oh, no,
Look at
suara
that, Peter can look at the most
kamar
amount of
ini.
money earned by one player in a half.
He's in the building.
Actually stream will
Probably got like
better
3
without
computers in front of him
Discord.
right now already looking it up.
He always carries around a
Thanks,
calculator
bro.
on one hand and HOTV.org open on the other.
Fair
Gue
enough.
ngomong ya dhek krungu, Mas.
TI-83
Iya.
Plus, Silver Edition.
I don't know what that is.
It's a very sophisticated calculator that also had a cool game called Block on it, which I used to play Block more than do math.
I just used to write boobs.
You could do Booblist as well.
Yeah.
You could do 55378008.
I wasn't very creative.
Fair enough.
All right, this timeout right here for NIP. It's not like they're executing on the bomb sites, getting a lot of map territory.
Timu siapa, Mas?
They might change the pace.
Tak share nih gue
Successful
Discord,
when
Mas,
they found
mau.
those entries early, but they don't have an AWP in the hands of Draken. So maybe if they go straight into a
Tapi aku
setup,
nganggo
haven't
akunku
really been
Google
pestered
sing
too much
wong
by
lain
the
ya.
aggression of Kenny. Hasn't got a lot away with a lot of early entry AWP frags. I think it's one. I think we've only seen him go for one, or he's gone for more, but he's only been successful with one. And it looks like NIP are just opting for that default spread again. Boiler control, window control, it's all theirs. They're just waiting out the banana utility as usual. And this is just standard. This is just very basic Inferno play. You're relaying all that information back to exist, and then you're going to make a decision from there. And hope that G2 overextends and gives you a free kill, which it looks like finally they've learned their lesson.
Dan gue tekan ngarep.
2 plants in the 2 losses of rounds for NIP.
And
Both
PK
losses on B. Gives them enough money for the buy, obviously, but this is last chance saloon.
This half could spiral out of control here if they're not able to convert something. The money's in the bin. They're
Kacau
not
ternyata.
even close to full loss bonus at the moment. They should be able to scrap
Kayaknya
it.
ngomong,
This
Mas,
is the
ngestor
NIP
Rai.
execute that comes in. They're going to take mid-wall once again, but
Jadi caster.
follow through. I've seen this strat.
Bahasa Inggris
where
masuk
they
dunia.
actually do it and they
Saya nonton
kind of,
Londo-Londo.
beeline straight into the bomb site. Something I used to do with Freiburg on the team, actually. It was
Saat ini
quite
DE
effective because it would
bermusuhan.
force players back into pit, and their chain of flashes was hugely effective. But Shock's taking a duel down mid. Another frag for him. He's going to find Draken in rotation, and now the number advantage once again in favor of G2.
It was a strat we saw yesterday as well from G2 that they smoked off the inside of the site, walled it, and took pit. So keep an eye for that when we swap over as well. But Shocks, speaking of pit, will be there now to try and hold off the approach from Apartments and Diggity. As they start to work in that direction, they line up perfectly. Shocks, one through the other. He'll stitch them together with bullets from the M4, but it's Rez that gets the shot back. Kenny doesn't care, finds out exactly where default is, has it lined up inside of the smoke, and we go 9-3, and you are right, this is where money can spiral. No bomb plant as well with that 3rd round loss.
So
Which would
smart.
have put them on the threshold to bring out some AKs. Now they're just underneath of where they need to be, and it's a timeout as a result.
Yeah, almost back-to-back timeouts, right?
Almost indeed. Exist is struggling to dig deep.
This is where we hope Threat has some magic. Some NIP magic in the bag, but when Shox is picking up another 4 frags, bolstering his count to 21, this is just nuts. This is a carry performance and a half. I've been very critical of Shox and his position in this team, but ever since he's not doing this secondary or pig mat, he's been stepping it up. It looks like that burden has been taken away from him, and he's looking completely unchained. Back to the MP9, of course.
Back to the MP9. Yep. No surprise.
Mas, aku jauh sih ya, Mas, yo.
Definitely
Okay, Mas.
my favorite weapon in the game, Chad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It might be a needle, but it works like a sewing machine.
So they've gone for a bit of a mix buy here. They're just playing the economy. They know they're going to be getting a nice little bonus next round. We got a CZ, Deagle, a couple of P250s, and 2 flashes. So this is probably going to be an explosion play. The man to watch in this situation will be Draken to see where he wants to be throwing those flashes. He's going to posture up the mid corridor and probably just try and flash pit. That means action's going to be on body.
Body smokes in, gets the gun drawn in time, somehow snaps over and gets Get Right running in front of him with a headshot. That, although Rez gets a response, means that they go down early. Good shot from Kenny. Forrest with the pistol did get Apex at range, but unfortunately, even though the bomb is planted, which, to be fair, is a win, it's still a large order for Rez. He's done well to pull this down to a 1 versus 2. Knows they're both out in front of him as well, but with 9 HP now, it was 28. Not likely he's going to find both players with armor, especially with the MP9, Chad.
Yep, you're happy with that, though. You're obviously very happy with that plan. You're going to get the money bonus going into next round anyway, so you might be able to get that AWP up from Drake. And let's have a little look at his bank account right now. We're definitely going to have enough money on someone on the team to drop it his way. Rez has 6,200, so shouldn't be any dramas there making it happen.
Beautiful trophy. Looks a bit like a missile.
Did you ever win many trophies, Matt, growing up?
No. Well, you know, sometimes I got like the consolation prize.
I got like most improved in
Yeah,
soccer
that's
one
fair.
time. That's like
I got
the...
okay. I thought we were talking strictly esports.
No.
Okay. All right, no, definitely not. If that's the question.
Here's this aggression by Drake, and he's going to find Shox early, and that's the man who's been getting it done for G2 Esports. Put to bed very quickly. And that's a number advantage in NIP's favor. Something we haven't actually seen them being able to convert too many times right now, but they're quickly making their way back towards that A bomb site. All 5 members of NIP are heading over towards A quite swiftly. And Apex is a very long way away from rotating here, so it looks like MBK and Apex are going to have to go for a flank if the A attack comes in. Kenny on the porch side, waiting for any aggression.
That's going to be the call. They're already down. They're pushing out to middle, and NIP's not moved. This could be devastating for them as they turn back, and they realize there's a firing squad staring them down. Apex has the accuracy, 2 kills. As GeTRight says, enough is enough. I'm going. Flashes through, jumps behind the smoke rather than into the pit itself. And Body will lose track of the angle because I'm not sure that he's going to recognize that GeTRight has gone below and hasn't needed to wrap around from Diggity, and therefore is already closer, which means when he jumps up, Body's able to see him without a shot coming against him, and he gets 2 headshots dropping. Bomb. Forrest suddenly realizes that the deficit has grown, and they've lost the opening that they had. Has to clutch it back, can't do so. 11-3 now for G2.
That was sick by Body. You love those kind of players, just biding your time, waiting out, giving any information that you possibly can to your remaining teammates, and then 2 lovely headshots. Bang, bang. Love to see it. This decision here by G2, it had to happen, right? There was no one holding that banana push, and from there they knew they had to have the aggression because they were down in that number disadvantage. Great decision making, but NIP, they're really going to want this 4th round here. They're going to need this 4th round. If you don't get this and you lose pistol round, that's all she wrote on Inferno, and we're going over to Cash. God damn it.
We'll get you over eventually. Draken back toward the apartment, similar to where GeTRight has been pushing multiple times. Does so again. Spray and hopefully get some wall bangs or anyone inside of the smoke if Body were to try and peek cheekily inside of it. Apex has rotated this time, so forget cheating. They've got 4 players toward A.
Some great reads here, Matt. The fact that they're rotating like this is fantastic as the attack comes in. GeTRight's going to find 1. Body on the balcony, but Kenny finally hitting a shot there, taking down Rez, and the attack is on.
Attack is on, but Shox is in the corner. Kenny nearly got caught out because he was waiting to cover off apartments and the wrap around from Diggity. He had a player in pit already, and somehow he hits 1 shot that allows Apex to find not only 2 in the site, or excuse me, Shox, but Apex to pop up and find Draken planting, and he holds the bomb, babysits it, and they go 12-3. NIP never had a say in this half.
Peekaboo, how are you? Apex jumping up there, finishing off the round. That's what you like to see, and that was off the back of Shox just having a blistering performance. This is the Shox we know and love. This is this guy here. We say Kenny's a fantastic AWPer. We say Apex, when he's feeling it, when he has the space, he can just frag for days. But Shox has the highest skill ceiling out of any player in this server. He's been touted time and time again from different eras, from different games, as the best player in the world. And when he's showing up in this kind of form, Matthew, he can't be stopped.
He's a tough man to beat, and again, he is one of the players on the French side, especially, that has always gone against NIP and performed well when he does so. So he is well and truly dominating NIP. I said they never had a say in the half. Keep in mind, early on, NIP actually had the economic advantage at one point in time. And because of the double op buy, because of the MP9, somehow they pull it back. And that was when the round spiraled. That was when the whole half fell apart. We knew it too, because Exist called the timeout trying to figure out what to do, and they just never got back into it. G2 controls. Swap over to the T side, pistol, and we might not have much more to go in this game. Keep in mind, Nip did have a slow start yesterday against Na'Vi, but twice in a row, can they make the comeback? I'm not sure, especially going on to Cash. If they have this form on Cash, this is done in 2, unfortunately for them.
Look,
time to show up.
I've been critical. NIP were gifted a lifeline yesterday by Na'Vi on Nuke. The fact that they weren't as prepared as they needed to be for that map is what gifted NIP a chance to get back into the game, and from there they took it. They took it with 2 hands, they unwrapped that bad boy, and they took them down on Mirage. Normally a home map for the Na'Vi squad. And put themselves into this semi-final, but G2 are looking hungry. They're definitely not looking sleepy. I think we have a technical pause.
We do. I saw that. This has called stop to the game for a moment to fix something on the NIP side. I didn't see exactly what.
You know it's Father's Day in Australia today, Matt?
Is it really?
Yeah. So happy Father's Day to my old man.
Happy Father's Day to your old man, and interestingly enough, it's my father's birthday, even though it's not Father's Day in Canada. So happy birthday to Dadokist. That's what I call him in real life too.
My dad wants to come to an event, and he wants to wear a shirt that says Sponge's dad.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know why I'd want to put himself through that cruelty.
I don't know either, right?
GeTRight's dad in the audience. We've seen a lot of Cold Zero's dad over the time, but GeTRight yesterday, obviously, his dad was going quite insane. Speaking of days and significance as well, we should probably just make mention, happy birthday to Smix.
Yeah.
Everyone yell happy birthday to her when she comes on stage later. I'm sure she's absolutely hating that I've done this to her.
She's 21 years of age today.
Perfect, because she lives in the US, so.
But she can drink now.
That's amazing. I'm excited for her.
All right, it's unpaused. We're getting back into it. We have a smoke and a kit on GeTRight that could be used in multiple different ways. And Shox, he has a P250, a smoke, and a flash bang. As we're getting into this second half, NIP need this pistol round if they want to have any chances. Exist, jumping across early, getting that information, relaying that to the team. And it looks like a slow start from G2. They don't want to get stuck into this one too early. They don't want to keep their foot on the throat. They're going to be wising up. They're going to be playing slow, prepared for any NIP aggression that has come in the form of 3 players in Banana. Quite pushed up. This means that G2 do end up going towards the A-bomb side. There was a very fast flank coming in.
Fast flank coming in, and they're well hidden on the left side. Formerly where the pillars used to be. They'll try and get baited in by Forrest. Oh. It's Drake, and instead they get the shot. He gets first. The right, Get Right has not needed to move. Excuse me, Rez has not needed to move as I stumble over who's who in this situation, but it's perfect because he can be baited in, and as they go around the corner, he just sits and wait. It's a slaughter. A good aggressive push early to establish position without any contest from G2 as they sat back. It's NBK and Shox, and the bomb is down and in the clutches of now 4 NIP players as they rotate around. And this time I can say with authority, Get Right has not needed to move. He'll anchor the A side. He stayed where he was to begin with. As MBK evaluates how best to approach the situation, Shox goes all the way back with a single flash to try and get him inside of Banana. But as I mentioned, 4 players there. It's going to be a hard task. What? Jumps in, finds Red, snaps back, low HP on Drake, and the flash pushes them back. Suddenly, they've got ground to walk on. And they know Exist didn't get back in the site. MBK knows he's behind the sandbags alone.
This is doable now, Matthew. The fact that Nathan has jumped in there, grabbed 2 opening kills, and Shox is also running up towards A, making a bit of noise. Get Right is close. He's going to pick out now. He's going to go for the jewel. He's going to take down Shox. And MBK has to find the last 3 frags here if he wants any chance in this round.
Smart read from Get Right to hear the sounds, to recognize that he was looking at A but ran back, which meant they were going B on low time and peaked immediately. They shut it down, but yeah, I got to give NBK credit. Jumping in to hit the first headshot and then immediately snapping back. That made things awkward.
This is where we see which G2 we're dealing with this morning. Are we dealing with the G2 who just wants to finish this game as quickly as possible and are going to force buy? Or are we dealing with the G2 who's going to eco and just get an early gun round in? And, well, surprise, surprise, the force buys come in. Kenny hasn't opted for anything at this point. Oh, there we go, just as I say that. The Caster Curse comes in and he will buy the P250 and the head armor, which means come first gun round, highly unlikely he will have an AWP. Nice nade popping out the window there by Draken. And he has the scout in hand, so he can pester any kind of peaks coming in from this G2 squad. He can be very mobile with that scoped rifle. Not a lot of utility on the guys from G2. Doesn't mean they can do a lot. They're hoping for openings here. They're hoping to find some good timings or find a lucky frag. NIP with their pants down, but Forrest is get in the back of the pit there, and that is a place to mow down some G2 players.
Draken does tag 1 on the scout, but gets tagged back and then walks out to Apex's greeting as they get inside a pit. It's MBK again, 2 on the pistol, this time picking up a weapon to work with, as he's got the silenced M4. Not as common that we've seen that this weekend. Good flank back from Rez, but a bomb plant in position as Shox nearly burns. Gets down to 38, which Get Right will take welcomely. On an MP9, he needs damage assist because they've got armor to go against that, and he's already low. In fact, he's gone. So too may be Rez, although he gets 1. He's on 9 HP, and with the bomb down, they've already spotted and figured out exactly where he is. He looks to the corner, body shuts them down. G2 respond.
Put a bow on it, Matt. This one's done.
Do I ever get to unwrap the bow?
Maybe next map. But it's not looking good for the boys on NIP right now. I think they're just going to have to force buy into this one to make this competitive. Winning the pistol, not being able to convert, that's not where you want to be. Head-in-hand type action there, and I think, you know, G2 are going to keep up the pace here. They were able to salvage an M4, which is always fantastic. And Shox loving these SMGs. He's got the MAC-10. Maybe he thinks he's playing Source because he loves the run and gun a little bit more than most. Rez getting stuck in front of the Molotov. Body's going to clean him up with ease, and now Exist and Get Right are there. Can they do anything? Get Right needs to push through this smoke when the fight goes on against Exist because can't leave a man behind. G2 look like they're just posturing at the moment, just waiting for G2 to make a mistake. And they've rotated another player over towards that B side. Is it Forrest who they've moved over there?
No, it's not.
Okay, because if it was Forrest, he has a flashbang in hand and they could actually go for some kind of aggressive move. But Draken with the Deagle, he has been dangerous, but he has a really tough task ahead of them here. Still enough utility on the guys from G2 to pull off, you know, a smoke strat onto the site. Flash comes in. They need to check sandbags. It's going to happen. Rez goes down, but Get Right steps out. He's going to take down MBK, and he's pushed across the sandbag. Draken stepping out from the corner to assist, but G2 have had enough of Banana, and they're going to run all the way back to the A-bomb site.
Back to get the Galil. It's a shame he almost didn't have it on the first peek because he got the information. Could have taken a duel before they escaped. It's Forrest, as you mentioned, that has to do everything in the sights, and the aim punch wrecks him through the edge of the balcony. Shox puts him down with a MAC-10. Still loving the secondary SMGs. He's trying to be like Fur, I guess, because he's the one we normally attested using those weapons, as Draken does get one on a Deagle. But sitting back as they are. Get right with armor. Galil try to burn inside of the site and find Shocks. They won't do so. This is going to be a save call because they want the weapons at least for one more round on the NIP side before they can finally buy again. And it's 2 to go for G2.
Yeah, so the problem is, even like because they forced it into this round, going into the next, they're going to have nothing. So do you force buy behind the Galil? I guess you have to at this point in the game. You're so deep in the hole right now. You didn't take the eco just there. You've got a Deagle and Kevlar. You've got the Galil and Kevlar. You kind of just have to go for another buy. Otherwise, you're going to be giving them match point, and you're going to have 4 rounds. And that's just a grind that is almost impossible for any squad, even the Magical Ninjas on home turf, to be able to pull off. There it is. They are going with the buy.
All in.
Scouts on Draken here. He is going to go for a mid pick by the looks of things, so he could find an opening here. And all 5 members of G2 are making their way towards middle. He's getting a tag. 2 of them there. Apex and Body getting dropped down to below half HP, but stepping out again could be a mistake. Damage being done. Nade landing. He's done a lot of damage early.
Well, that's the thing. He's done significant damage early, and Shocks as well, being one of the players tagged. Gets into the flames and down to 5. This has given his team a chance. With the Galil on Get Right, the pistols absolutely can take down Apex, Shocks, and Body quite quickly. So it's MBK and Kenny, the high rollers with AKs. They have to be the ones to try and open up position. And the sight, the slow reload time does exist. Yeah, Kia pistol has to assemble it, can't find Body, but it gives Get Right information on the Galil, and he's able to take down NBK immediately. So they level it, which is important because HP lost is one thing. But if they've got 5 guys and you've got 2, it doesn't matter how much HP they have. They set up angles and trades. You've got no chance. So they have to keep this controlled early on. Forrest, he's about to have company. Shock's getting ever closer, and they're already inside from... Oh, he doesn't realize it either. Diggity, they're already behind the hay bales. They'll have no information on that at all. Draken still with... This, excuse me, I was going to say with the scout. He's picked up an AK. I was going to say was watching from library. He is. Doesn't have the scoped weapon, but the AK is actually an improvement.
At this point, man, they could shoot him in the toe and they'll fall down as Draken will find Kenny. Apex, Shocks, and Body between them. Not a lot of HP as Forrest has flashed, and they've made their way up quad side into the site, finding 1, only 2 more.
It's a big round as Apex will finally put the AK down, but Get Right shows up perfectly timed with the gun they saved that encouraged the force buy, a desperate one to keep them in the game, keep them off of the overtime point, and it works.
Yeah, you're going to see another buy come out from G2 here. Kenny and MBK don't have a lot of money, but between Body, Apex, and Shocks, they can all get AK, head armor, and utility. So I would definitely be expecting a buy. It just depends on what kind of attack they want to go for. I think this pause here will be used to work out what strategy is going to be employed. The guys from NIP just need to hold on. They just need to be solid. They need to play their rotations well. Communication needs to be at an all-time high, and positivity needs to be making its way into that booth. And maybe the crowd could assist in that.
No, maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
It's maybe
We'll
my
see.
accent. Maybe they didn't understand me.
It's possible, but 14-5, I don't disagree with force buying. They have to make a play for it. They're that far down, you might as well go all in. And now they've got a chance. You are right. They called the timeout to talk about the economy. They have gone for the 3 rifles. So IP needs to be cautious. Make sure they don't overcommit and assume that there's not going to be a buy, because G2, they love to force buy, and they're going to try and do it early to catch out NIP.
The utility advantage is in the favor of NIP right here, but I would argue that the rifle advantage is in that of G2. They have 3 AKs, a CZ, which we have seen to be absolutely amazing, and they're going to make their way very swiftly up mid. This could catch NIP off guard. They're happy to take the duel. They're peeking quad and arch side at the same time, and they've already got mid-wall control. Draken picking with the flash. He's going to find 1, and he's going to quickly drop back, or maybe not, as Shocks will take him down. Trades across the board. Forrest finding 1, and MBK and Kenny S are the only 2 standing.
Forrest is waiting for another peek. They do good work to make sure that nothing goes wrong with the AKs at top of middle. Yes, okay, they caught out Draken, but he found the kill first and had the information, which allowed for the transitions and Get Right finding Kenny. It's a flash out, exists. The last player to find was MBK. Does so swiftly, and they'll give themselves some time in breaking down the money on the G2 side.
G2 just need to take a really deep breath right now, Matt. They're in the driver's seat, which you know a lot about. They just need to just tick along here. You don't need to get too far ahead of yourself. Let's take an eco. Maybe let's just chill out. Let's make some jokes.
You did. You made one about driving. I liked it.
Yeah, thank you. But this should just be a clean-up round right now from the boys from NIP. Draken getting his confidence up. This is always a great way to Make yourself smile. A bit of stat padding versus the Eco. He's going to pull out the USB. I hope he just keeps fighting. You're not going down against Glocks.
Oh, okay,
there's another one.
Fair enough. Actually, that came from the USB from Drake, and it didn't actually come from the AK. Either way, bomb down. MBK, again, the last alive.
Throw yourself to the wolves, MBK. Let's get this show on the road, mate.
Let's get this road on the show. MBK, Boiler. It's not exactly throwing himself to the wolves, is he?
There we go. He's going to get spammed down. Rez will finally finish him off. And this is what NIP need, a couple of easy frags. So, worst case scenario, I don't want to be painting too much of a doomsday picture, but going into case, this is the more rounds they play, the more warm they get, you know? And this is a big stage, especially for Rez and Drake. And so, if they can start to feel it going into map 2, that's what we want to see. It might be a bit more of a competitive map, but I'm getting ahead of myself because right now we've got the gun round coming out from G2. Once again, they don't have a full buy. I don't consider this a full buy. We don't have the utility across the board. You know, they don't have all the Molotovs, they don't have all the nades, which is why the advantage still leans in the favor of NIP.
But they have the 5 smokes. If there's no contest toward middle, okay, so it's alt mid at this moment, but if they start to set up in mid with no peek, this could be the wall smokes we talked about yesterday, which caught off SK late in their comeback, which ultimately won them the series as they got into overtime on Inferno.
They are setting up for something by the looks of things, just posturing in alt metal, jumping around, spamming the walls, making sure that there is no boiler or halls aggression. But
is not the same setup, just to note, and if they went back to it now, they have no information in middle, so this is going to be something different.
And it's scary as well. Like, Get Right is just falling back now, but I thought we might have another situation on our hands where the CT's pushed through Banana and flank, but Body was watching it the entire time. But this means they can still cheat a man over. When you have Rez boosted up on that wall, to have that smoke there, there's no issues. But is this the setup? Are they going back to B?
I'm not on. I think they want to confirm that Banana's clear. If they run it, this would be the time. They've got the 5. Okay, so they're just gonna go straight Banana, not utilize the smokes at all, and run into Rez. I'm not sure I agree with that call because they had the time to do it. They could have worked with it, but with 39 seconds, they get the Banana territory, but it comes at a hefty price of losing Apex. And MBK, although he's at the top of middle, is in behind the smoke, doesn't have any information of what's on the other side of it. So they are playing blind with 26 seconds and have to commit.
If MBK could find Exist here, then it would force Get Right probably away from that B site and the rotation would come in, but it looks like the B attack is going to be first.
And they go. Get Right from Coffins. Rez waits from New Box. Smoked off is Get Right, so he has to rely on Rez to distract and get the first kills to allow him back in. Kenny trades it, and that's exactly what happens, however, because Get Right has confidence. Confidence is key over the smoke. Bomb dropped. MBK gets a kill post time, but goes down and loses money.
Jeez. That just looked, it was just a mess. It didn't look like G2 knew what they wanted to do. They had the decision of, hey, we don't have banana control. Going for this AX cube probably means that there's going to be 4 guys on the bomb site. Maybe something with a bit more pace. Maybe something trying to take those jewels, because we know G2, they love to be aggressive. They love to fight. When they're playing this style, it's almost like they're playing into NIP's hands, who are now just playing a very solid CT side.
You might be onto something without the banana control, because the 5 smokes, late game, AKs, you don't really use much other than flashes. That was the perfect time to run that strategy, and it looked like they were grouping to do it. I was certain they would, and then they just went toward banana.
This is the thing I'm talking about. If you don't have the full buy, you don't have the HEs to do the airstrikes to push the players back from banana, you don't have the Molotovs to contest that part of the map, you can't really Molotov anybody off of the trash or arch side. You're basically hoping that when you run your execute, that the CTs are out of position and your flashes are perfect, that it means you can just, either they have to fall back to a more passive area of the map, and you can just run into the site, or you need to be hoping that you can take heads-up duels. And I think like a faster-paced, a little bit more aggressive G2 would be nice to see coming out. I don't think we've seen the AWP on Kenny yet either.
Have not. I've seen an AK on Exist, but only good for 1. Pistols, adding up some kills, but perhaps not enough body. Lost alive, and a swift execution from Forest. Almost to double digits.
Yeah, Shox has really dropped off here, man. He's only got 26 frags, so this half he obviously hasn't had a lot of an impact, but I think 2 rounds on the board so far for G2 in the second half of things. And Kenny has had a couple of misses, so we do see him picking up the AWP here. Maybe he can redeem himself from that first half where he did miss a couple of sitters. Just curious, he's going to be flashing banana. This means they will be contesting to that part of the map. The Molotovs will come in now, and the stack from NIP, 3 players over towards that part of the map, means we might have a brawl on our hands if G2 want to pursue this avenue.
Get Right backs off, so they don't fancy being aggressive. They concede banana. They'll allow that to be gone, but okay, that's as easy as you like. MBK, I think, was even startled. The Draken was just standing there, not at all expecting anyone in Boiler with no one else looking at it. I'm not sure.
Overstayed his welcome.
All right. Well, that's a freebie early in the round, and that's definitely what G2 needed. They definitely needed that. We saw them struggling with mid-round decision-making. Now they do have banana control. They have body up the top. They've identified that as an issue. They have a free pick onto Draken, and now they're making their way up the mid corridor. Kenny finding a frag onto Exist. 3-on-5 situation now for G2.
Kenny gets another. Slides over to find Forrest, and he's just going to sit in posts, knocking down the nip op early and striking with their own body. Gets res this time. It's not gone well for NIP. Not a single kill and nowhere to work. Get right flashes himself back in. Shox doesn't really mind having a bit of vision deterred because he finds the kill and finds map point crucially for G2 before Nip hits double digits as well.
Yeah, this kind of feels like G2 always had this in them. They identified, hey, we need a banana control. Once we have that, we can play the rotations of NIP and go for those picks in a more fair environment. They can't go for the stacks, and that's exactly what we saw come out. I think you just see business as usual. Same thing as last round coming in. Kenny throwing those flashes, the Molotov coming into banana. Yeah, here it is. This is all they need to do because they're getting full map control with this. It looks like they finally pulled up their socks, looked in the mirror and said, let's finish this one, boys.
Rez gets position, but not the shot, and they'll spray him down. Nowhere to run at that point in time. No one else close enough. Although they have two other players on B, they weren't in a position to do anything about it. In behind the bags, Exist finds one.
Bomb down as well.
Teammate was hoping to smoke him off. Bomb is down, but it's not secure because they are going to pursue it naturally with three players. And get right. It's clever. Oh, it's crafty, and Apex finds it.
You hate to see that.
Used to be the lovely cart you could throw the smoke down and play on top of in that position. That's gone, and Get Right tries to come up with his own iteration of it. It's not going to work. And is that the end? 4 versus 2 on map point for G2.
This should technically be an unlosable situation, right? You've got the CTs at a bomb site each. They're not playing together. They can't help each other. Someone would have to have a hero play, and all the Ts have to do is go as a 4-man unit. Trade out. You have the bomb site. You've got a guy in a 1-on-3 situation. You close her out from there, and that's all she wrote. And neither player from NIP is going for any aggression, which means they're not going to have an early call, but Draken might have. Free frag as Shox is caught on his own, and now he's given Forrest a chance. We've seen what this man can do. He's been doing it for years, and they're coming his way.
Chance is there. Playing on the box, very tight angle. He can strike at the last possible minute, which he does. Bomb went to pit as well. Unfortunately for Forrest, it's an immediate trade back from Kenny. They still have to go to the bomb, and there's only 12 seconds to work with. If Forrest had stayed alive even in a little bit longer, they may have had it. It's down to Draken. It's down to an AWP and a retake. Bomb planted. No kits. But it is a 1 versus 2, and he's close by already. Massive gap in the smoke, but Kenny naturally is staring it down on his own AWP, and that is enough for G2. There goes 16-9. A slow start from NIP. They had a slow start yesterday as well, but they woke up late, which is encouraging. Either way, a map down, and they have to fight back.
Gargantuan effort there by Shox. Really just putting up the big numbers on the scoreboard and making life very difficult for the side of NIP. The home crowd not getting too loud early this morning, Matt.
No, not at all. There's not much to get excited about in that game. There was some late charges, but we didn't see any of, I hate to say the term, but nip magic as we had yesterday, because they were all over the place. Everyone was firing. There was massive contribution all the way around today. They were slow. They were slow to get going. And part of that as well, to be fair, was the economy in the first half. They had a chance to get back into it. I think it was about 6-3. They called the timeout, and when that broke, it completely shattered.
Yeah, I think, you know, NIP going into the second map, it is going to be their pick. They're going to be coming out with a better game plan. The problem is we've already highlighted how badly G2 love to brawl. And on this map, if they can make it difficult and they can have a real go off to a flyer, if someone can stand up and drop a 21, 23, whatever kills in the first half like we saw Shox do, NIP are going to be in a lot of strife.
That is a big problem that they had, but let's not discount that, because they were sitting ducks to Shox running around like a menace. And he was running around because he had the MP9 for so long. I'm still waiting for that stat, Peter. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's map 2, it's Cash, it's NIP's choice. So if they want back into the series, it's their best bet. We'll be right back.
Season 7 was completely different because it was like I was pretty much just full part of everything. The production, everybody, got to know people more. It was awesome. It was great seeing that, but not only just with like the love and getting to know people more and experiencing Sweden and all that, you get to watch some good Dota games, and the games progress over the seasons. They just get better and better, so I'm expecting Season 8 to be the same thing. Should be pretty awesome, and just more of the good stuff.
Goal gets the 5-man black hole. They're all dead. Vega, T1. Oh my God!
I think Season 8, we're expecting bigger teams, bigger memes.
That way.
Oh, is that Slacks?
Slacks. Got some work to do. Friday's coming, and I'll be seeing you.
I think we've kind of proven ourselves over the seasons that we're a tournament that, you know, the teams are getting more and more interested in because it's such a fantastic ground to really test out strats, build yourself up before the big events, and now Dream League very much being one of those big events. And Season 8, it's going to be even bigger than Season 7. I can absolutely guarantee. It's going to be something to look out for.
GA comes out in time. Can they keep us all alive? They can't. He's down once again for a full minute. Liquid finding 2 more. GG is called. Liquid are your Dream League Season 7 champions.
So from the bottom of our hearts here at Dream League, thank you all, because we will return yet again. We're still alive, and we'll be back again. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Dream League Season 8. Have a fantastic Dota-filled night. Good night.
Win.sliver.tv. As you watch CSGO, you earn free coins. Pick the team you think will win and boost your bet. Earn more coins by answering trivia. Bet correctly to get raffle tickets. Win awesome prizes like CSGO skins, virtual reality headsets, and more. Play now at win.sliver.tv.
but I got needs, and I got answers to the questions you keep asking. And I get high, and I get low. In this world, it's two ways to go. I don't need anything when I'm going. When I get a dream, there we go blowing, yeah, yeah. 2055, 2055, 2055, 2055. In the future we'll be happy, just you and me. Living with a new machine. Everyone was born to be free. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 2055, 2055, 2055, 20.
Right now, I'm in a secret area backstage at DreamHack Masters Malmo 2017. Shortly, I will be joined by the legendary teams Ninjas in Pajamas and G2. Both fantastic teams on the server, but who is more capable in real life?
I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe scared thing or bad thing, I don't know. It's a bit creepy, to be honest.
Vad fan är det här?
My first impression walking in here, I hear Paula, he seems kind of mad and, taking, he seemed like a boss and everything like that.
Guys, alright, if you could be quiet. Welcome to the Nerf Coup, a tournament between G2 and Nip. It starts with a Mexican standoff. The Mexican standoff is very simple. A player nominated by their team comes to the center, back to back. They have a weapon in hand. I count 3 times. Each time you hear a count, you take 1 step. And then you wait for my go. 2. On that, you turn and fire. 3. Go! You both missed your shots. And so what do we do in this moment to decide our winner? We base it on style, elegance, performance. Kenny, you were awful. You've lost. Get out of there. Draken, I love the backflip. It looked amazing. Congratulations. NIP are our Mexican standoff winners. So Nip will be the first team to take aim and fire. Each of you please choose a weapon.
I'll try, yeah. We got it.
Let's go. Nice, Kenny.
What a shot. Kenny, you're out of there. Get out of my studio. Sit down. Sit down.
Taking me down is smarter because I know I'm always the most dangerous.
Oh, what the fuck? That's a hit, buddy. You're out of there. I'm scared for that. Oh, Dan. Richard, you're fantastic at CS. Not so much at Nerf, all right? Get out. Oh!
The bouncy.
The bounce shot.
1 shot, 1 kill, it's kind of easy, so, you can just go home and, cry a little bit.
Oh!
Prepare to die, Nathan.
Oh, the switcheroo. This is it, 1 versus 3. We've seen you win these in real life. Oh, and there's number 1. Oh, I love it. Ouch. Oh, 3 for... Oh, no.
Yeah, so I didn't manage to land a single shot this game, which is kind of saddening, honestly. Good thing I had good teammates.
Ninjas in Pajamas. How does it feel to have this victory?
I mean, it was a really tough game. Like my aim was on point, I think.
Congratulations, best of luck here at DreamHack Masters Malmo, and we will see you all very, very soon.
Well, NIP are better with Nerf guns, but they're not better on Inferno. G2 handedly won the game, 16 to 9. It does go to 16 in Counter-Strike these days.
Sometimes you need 16.
Sometimes. Sometimes you get 15, you go to overtime. That's what happened yesterday after NIP was losing to Na'Vi. They pulled the series back in a very dramatic fashion. It turned out to be actually a classic, I have to say. That nuke game was amazing, but we go to cash this time, and we know G2 is also decent on that map, I have to say. They have a chance at this if NIP don't show up.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, if people are just tuning in, I am replacing Henry because he's sick. So I'm lounging a bit. Oh, they missed me on doing a button. Oh, here we go. We can still see me. I got to channel my inner Henry, get the chest out.
Yeah.
But going into this match, I think, NIP obviously have a better chance. This is one where I think, we saw them play in Cologne. It was the only map that they won.
Yes, that's right.
And it was a map that, they defaulted on fantastically. It wasn't the set executes of the past that they relied on back then. It was just them defaulting, making good mid-round decisions. And now with Threat being able to call in the freeze times, maybe we'll see a nice mixture of default set strategies, changes of pace, all that stuff I love to see as a Counter-Strike purist, Matthew.
Well, hopefully so. Changes of pace is, I think, something that can be dictated quite quickly by G2 on this map. We know that they traditionally, with Kenny especially on the op, they have very good versatility across the map.
Yes.
Double op potential is absolutely there on CT side for MBK, but we know with Apex and Kenny, if they want to, they can change mid a lot. He can be aggressive with the AWP, that being Kenny, and Apex is very good at rotating around and knowing when to push and when not to. So watch for counter boosts at drop. I have a feeling we'll see a few of those from G2 CT side.
We say time and time again the importance of middle on this map, and this is a chessboard, this map, to me. Once you take middle, the CTs have to take A main, they have to be aggressive on B. One of those two options needs to be taken, or a retake needs to come in across the board. And G2 are a team who like to play relatively aggressive in middle. They like the vent play. You were talking about the boost, all that kind of aggression. So NIP are going to have to deal with that early, and it looks like they will be starting on the T side here. So they need to come out maybe a little bit quicker than last time. But let's be honest, they had a quick T pistol on Inferno, and they got absolutely beaten down by Body. Smoke and two flashes in the hand of Exist. They're all heading over towards the A portion of the map. This might just be a little smoke between Fork and Red and Flash as they bust out Squeaky Door. Apex is the only man on the site to deal with this attack. Playing behind the forklift. He's going to need to go huge. Smoke comes in. Flash to follow.
It's a retake A, but it's non-traditional. Apex in this site has done very well. It's non-traditional in the fact that they pushed all the way through B. It's going to be a fast flank, and NIP has nowhere to go because Apex has stopped them in their tracks. Get Right might find a kill, but he gets greeted immediately by the flank, and Kenny shuts it all down. That's quite a good pistol round, I have to say. I like that Apex was able to hold them off, but they were so quick running out through B.
I don't know what he said, but it was in French. This is the thing they do nowadays, right? When the smokes come in, or they're coming in, you just stand there pre-firing an area, especially like Squeaky Door, where the choke point is so small. Busts off a couple shots, picks up 2 headshots, finishes it with a 3rd, and basically wins the round for his team. Forced by coming out now for NIP. They want to stay competitive early, heading all 5 members back over towards that A side of the map. Forrest jumping up, posturing a little bit, but it looks like he's going to quickly join the squad, and a similar looking strategy to be in play here is Shocked, ready to push Squeaky. Opens her up, gets taken down by Rez with that Deagle, and 4-on-5 situation early for NIP.
Pulls Kenny out of middle to help the second rifle inside of A. That being Body. Misses a number of shots. The Molotov as well. He didn't have anywhere to hide. Kenny does. It's inside of the smoke, but inside of the smoke. And Forrest is easily able to find him in turn, bomb planted openly so that they can cover it off from A main. A main, which is not yet under threat because Apex and MBK are toward mid and the truck.
Save should be the call right now. They do have an M4 in the hands of Apex. There's no point going for it. No point giving that away, but they will. Apex getting taken down from the quad boost, and that's another M4 that might go in the hands of NIP, but Forrest finishing off with a Deagle. Very concise round there. All off the back of Shocks, pushing Squeaky Door with that MP9, going down to Rez, and then from there, the dominoes fell for NIP, picking up the second round. The Force by paying off for them here in the second map. Now they're in control as we are going to see some pistol upgrades come out from G2. Looks like Body's bought down to nothing. Apex is bought down to $50. Shocks has held on to 2,500. Kenny's bought up quite a lot as well. So it did turn into a late-ish force buy. Probably going to see 2 ecos coming out of them. And they're not doing anything too exciting. They've just spread out across the map on the CT side, hoping they can find some picks with those deagles. 3 deagles to be counted. And NIP already starting off with this slow, defaulty style, waiting out any aggression, seeing if they can catch any pushes from G2. This is where it gets scary though, you know, when you play like this, when you're not going into an execute, when you're not going into a plan at the start of the round, all it takes is one deagle headshot, like we saw last round, to make things spiral out of control. Mid-round calls come in, people get flustered, bad decisions are made, but right now NIP, they're set on taking middle, and they have done so.
They've done so, with the vent already popped, and Forrest pushing toward white box. Last round was more encouraging than I would say almost any of the rounds they had on Inferno, so that continues on and we have a game. Forrest will fall off of mid. They're going to give it back up after taking it and head over toward A main. No rotations pulled from that side of the map. In fact, Apex is heading the other direction. He's heading back toward it. So they're going to fortify it with a 3rd member. No boost behind red. It's available to them, but they've already got the information. Body at the slide. Doesn't have anywhere to go except back in front of Kenny, which limits his position. What from Kenny? 2 deagles, but down immediately. It brings Apex back in. We're not done yet. Forrest is now stuck in the middle. They know exactly where he is, and backing up highway, he's going to be baited in surely, but the smoke saves him. He doesn't realize it's there, and MBK gets the shot with the deagle. What quick play from Kenny.
That wasn't even a full investment from G2 there. I wouldn't call that a forced buy. That was just a bit of a pistol upgrade across the board, and whew, Kenny just stepping out, grabbing 2. Getting a lot of work done. Apex coming in with the CZ. That weapon this event has looked on point once we've seen these other pistol nerfs coming into play. People are becoming the CZ masters once more. And a pause coming in from NIP. This is probably just to stop the early tilt. You know, you don't want to get too carried away. And they look like they want to force buy back. Draken straight onto that AK. CZs once more. Geralt has how much in the bank account? He's not dealing with a lot. 1750.
This is when things get desperate, though, because if they start forcing and their economy spirals really early, G2 could run away with it, which is the opposite of what NIP needed and hoped for after winning the eco round. They wanted to do the same in return. They wanted to shut G2 down and get the momentum, because they're going to need it. They're going to have to play off of momentum and off the crowd as well and get things, I think, ahead. I think NIP's more comfortable when they have control of the economy. That's clear.
This is going to be explosion, Matt. This is going to be a big explosion. I'm going to expect that B main smoke to come up, and then they'll probably pop flash through. They have a Molotov and exist. That might just get used towards the bomb site or checkers, but the attack will be on. And this is a good setup from G2. Both players playing in the bomb site. As I say that, Apex pushing close behind the smoke. They need to mop up some frags, and MPK nade in hand. This could do some damage.
It's timed right. It's a little deep. Oh, it still hits Forrest to good effect, but Apex sprays them down. They're going to walk continuously through the smoke. Draken's trying to find an angle, but he just walks in and still finds Apex. Shocks rotates over, and 3-1.
There's lots of danger with doing that, Matt, playing 2 people in the bomb site straight away, because if NIP had enough, or if they'd opted for utility over that AK for, say, maybe they went for P250s instead of CZs, and then they Molotov the hell out of that bomb site, it's going to absolutely cripple that defense. So Apex playing close to the smoke was a good adjustment. I like that. He knew that something like that might be coming in once that B main smoke went down, and able to pick up a lot of frags with the help of MBK there. And right now, the economy is in control of G2, and we're seeing just a couple of pistols, a couple of P250s coming out on the side of NIP as they look to get mopped up here.
So we hit 3-1, having won the pistol and losing the eco. We're basically reset to where we would be heading into round 5, typically. Apex pushing again, checking useless. Finds Forrest as they sit beside each other in tandem, and NIP goes back to try and solve that riddle. They can't. And taken out, but it's damage done from MBK to the backside of Apex, and GeForce actually picked up 2 headshots and now an AK-47 to go along with it.
Cracked B open as well here. If he wants to take that map territory, he can. There is a window of opportunity here, but gonna regroup with Rez. They can probably get that rifle for him as well. Kenny backing off of mid, doesn't want to give away another kill. But Body has a lot of information here. If he can get in the corner, he can lock down A main. That means A is not open for business.
It's a decent push from Body because they had to spread out the defense. They had to get information somewhere in doing so as well. Yes, they have the man advantage. With time and so much map space lost, he now gives them a chance. Hence why Kenny's rotated back over towards Shocks as well. But it's out toward middle they choose to approach. And also that does mean without Shocks inside of the vents, they're both in B. If they wrap to A, that's a long rotation for both players, and Body's playing outside of the site. That's the harder part to read. They can get the bomb down, but Body could quickly be on the case. Back through A main.
10 seconds, Matt. This is down to the wire right now. Body's pushing in the wrong direction. No one's going to be close to A.
Rez has to go now. Rez has to run. He's going to have to plant this immediately behind Red Crate. I don't think oh, he just got there.
Great plan, great round so far, but now they know it's A. Get right in a forward position. He's going to have 2 CTs coming his way. As I say that, they push through Z. They want to go the highway direction. Rez thinks their flank is possible.
Oh. Kenny reads it very well. They know the door was open, so they look for that direction. Get right on the AK picked up, finds the shot immediately toward Body, and shocks his Red as well. NIP respond, all due to a double push and 2 kills found from Get Right at Useless.
2 on 5. What's happening there? That is a big blunder from G2. That push coming in. The aggression was fine, but the fact that they're not able to convert, the fact that they let this spiral in this direction, maybe miscommunication. Body, when he went for that push, he didn't need to. They already had 2 players in B, right? What's he pushing for? You know at that point in time, if it's not going to be B, you have 2 guys in the site, you have to expect it to be A. You should have been leaning back towards Squeaky Door, back towards the A bomb site. If you think they're saving, who cares? You want to win the round, let's get them on the board. Don't worry so much about taking those guns away. They were taking an eco anyway.
And think about the plant in that round, because they didn't even clear the A site. That was literally a hold down the bomb and hope that no one's going to kill me while I'm doing so. Rez ran in last second. If Body had happened to be at quad, that would have been it. Round would have been over on that alone.
I'm confused, to say the least. But right now, NIP have a chance to get back in control of this half. They're definitely in control of the economy, but we saw how that went for them last time as we exchanging his ecos.
Reload. Oh, I was going to say, if Rez holds down and depletes too much ammo and has to go for the reload, they would wait and time that through the door, but he saves enough to kill them both when they do.
I want to say good start, but so far this half we've seen a lot of back and forth, especially with number disadvantages and pistols. So anything's possible right now for G2, especially with this man with the Deagle in hand. Molotov comes out, forces him out of position. Get Right quickly swings out, taking 2. He's on fire early. An Apex 1-on-5 situation, sees that in hand. Just has to look for an exit or just a consolation frag, I suppose.
Rez anchoring. I think he spotted Apex. Apex is looking straight at the ground so his head won't show up. As he gets closer, tries to surprise with a peek. Get Right gets the kill instead. 3-3. NIP, good response. Keeping all 5 players alive as well will start to give them money. Money is a factor. Body has an op. He's dropped it. He's thrown it away. And that will go in the hands of Kenny. So an op for Kenny on Cash. Chance to be fast and aggressive. Full utility, obviously, for NIP. Decent utility in the fact that they've got smokes on all 5 players on G2. However, they only have the 1 kit. That's on Shocks. Kenny mid, naturally, with the only AWP. Double peek from Draken. That's a risk, but he gets away with it.
Aggression is going to be key here because we don't have Molotovs on Shocks. We don't have Molotovs on Body. The smokes are only going to last so long, but it looks like they're just opting for that sight boost, which Rez might spam for. It's become commonplace nowadays. They're doing a little bit further back. That could be a way to avoid it, but that's a duel that might come in any minute. Shocks looks to be the master of the A site for G2. This is the problem right now, Matt. If you're just going to play CS like this and deplete your utility, which G2 are doing a fantastic job holding on to so early, it comes down to your players hitting individual shots, making sure they get those multi-kills on the bomb site, because on a map like this, sure, you can retake. It's definitely possible on a map like Cache, but you can just get locked out so early if you don't make any trades, and right now it looks like...
Get Right gets to A main, by the way, with the slide boost. If he pushes them down 2 players at door, they can easily spray in toward the default position and potentially catch off either Body or Shocks. But Get Right has to get that information first. They know the door's open. Good shot from Apex, excuse me, but there it is. They walk out. Get Right finds it. Rez is ready for it. Up highway instead, so they had all 3 approaches to the site covered. Kenny on the AWP found by Forrest as well. Shots are being hit by NIP.
I'm perplexed. There was 38 seconds left on the clock, and there was still at least 3 smokes across the G2 side that could have been deployed in A main, that could have been used anywhere on the map to stop the push. Body was at the bottom of the boost, so sure, he's not throwing it. Shocks at the top, he had one in hand. MBK still has his. So the fact that they held onto their utility for that long, I was giving them props for that, but they never used it. You did a great job staying heads up, ready to take the duel, didn't use your utility when you had the perfect timing. Imagine if you dropped that at 38 seconds left. Sure, then the pressure is on. They have to either flash push through a smoke. You have the advantage. They will give themselves, what, maybe 15-ish seconds to make that attack. But G2 dropped the ball there. MBK gonna hold on to this FAMAS. Or FAMAS. Clarion.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Or maybe just take Eco, one of which I'll be happy with.
Well, it seems it'll be the latter.
They are taking the eco. P250 for Apex. USPs for Shox, Body, and Kenny. So hard to see a lot happening this round. Draken, early tag there onto Kenny. He loves this pick. We've seen him go for this time and time again, getting kills through smokes. It's great when you have an explosive AWP who's not afraid to take the risky duels.
Very risky, but it's readable. Get right, considering even the skylight boost, which we don't see as often. Nice reaction as Apex pushes back in. Forest able to hold Body at A main as well, and watch as Shox re-enters. Forest is ready for that. Thank you, Body, for the early damage to your teammate. Certainly helps his cause. The gun of MBK is still up with full utility and armor, so I imagine if they can, they'll try and preserve that.
He doesn't need to hold on to it. He has 2,700 in the bank. Like, it would be great. It's mainly the armor, which he'd want more so than the FAMAS. I'd be wanting to go in the next round with an M4. He's not going to upgrade away from that. But, you know, it's not the end of the world if he does go down. If anything, even if he gets a couple of kills, it's not going to hamper the economy of NIP too much. Draken's sitting on 9,300, so sitting pretty early on. Forest has a bit of bank built up, can get a jet ski.
Not bad.
What's a jet ski go for nowadays?
Well, I mean, newer ones are like 15 CAD, probably same in AUD.
Okay, yeah.
But you can buy like an old, like a Bombardier 99 or like the Millennium Edition 2-stroke. You can probably get one for like 1,500.
So secondhand.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to buy the trailer.
Yeah, they burn oil though. You got to mix a lot. Yeah, trailers can be expensive, and boat trailers rot really quickly if you're not careful about preserving the axles. There you go. The more you know. No one cared about that except for you. But Draken takes down MBK. You mentioned as well that Draken has a lot of money. That's important because AWP player, obviously you want him to have the money.
Yeah. Well, it's easy, like, to you know, just have someone else farm that cash, drop him the AWP, like we saw with Shox with the MP9 doing on Inferno. He was able to build up a lot of bank and get the AWP in the hand of Kenny more often than not. Now he's on, he's almost on 1,300, so has a lot of money right now. We've got at least a couple of buys coming out here from NIP. It's going to be difficult for them to get broken. Now we are seeing G2 going into a gun round. Much better equipped this time. We do have Molotovs up on more players. And Kenny with that AWP. I want to see some early aggression coming out from Kenny. Let's use him as the spearhead. Let's find ourselves an opening as he will be making his way towards A. Looks like he wants to do just that. Draken with the aggressive mid pick again. He's actually going to push through it. This guy is out of control. Jumping out. He's at the vent. Shox going to pick up a molly kill meanwhile. But Shox is not going to expect Draken to be here. That's the equalizer they needed.
That's perfect. You called it. Shox had no idea Draken was there, walked directly into it. Smoke's still down in front of Exist, but they've got Draken there to watch middle, so they know that's open. They can start to approach other facets of the map. Get right, in fact, though, is going to push. Speaking of push, Kenny's going to do the same with the AWP, pre-scoped and ready. If they walk back out of the big garage toward A main, they're going to be greeted rather hastily from Kenny.
Ooh.
That's...
He would have been spotted.
Yep, he is spotted now. He jumped up at the slide, the head showed, and yeah, the crosshair placement's still there because he's hoping he jumps again for information.
Here's the problem right now for G2. Kenny doesn't see anything how far he's pushed up Squeaky, so he assumes they might be posturing for B, but in reality, they're all just out middle. Someone from B either needs to cheat their way back over towards Z connector or go aggressive to get some information because Body is about to feel the wrath of this NIP squad making their way up highway. Get right, leading the charge. Lurker now entry fragger.
Waiting in quad. Get right knows he was in the site, so you'd expect him to look this direction and check it. He looks behind red box first. That is isolated all possibilities and all options. Good tag by Get Right. Doesn't get the kill, but knows Body's there, so his teammates can immediately turn their attention in that direction, and the site is open, still with a man advantage. If Body got two in that situation, they might have had a problem. They nearly have a problem walking back toward Kenny. In some ways, knowing it's just the door, it's good to know where the AWP is. They've let him walk out, but Exist still keeps tabs. And he'll close his bill. It goes 6-3 for NIP.
You hear a pin drop in some of those quiet moments there, Matt.
It's tense.
Here's just a quick little point. G2 are a team who we praise, you know, for being brawlers, for being able to play Counter-Strike, you know, just aim-based, heads up, as I like to call it. The fact of the matter is, this is one of the maps that you want to have those kind of players because you're just holding your spots on the map and going for duels. But the information that G2 are being able to gather, it's at the wrong time. It's actually making them make missed plays, which is a huge problem in these scenarios. They're getting isolated. Sure, we saw a kill there from Body onto Get Right, but nothing too exciting. You know, nothing that's looking dangerous. As Shox and MBK going to open up with the Deagles. As I say that, turning up the excitement level to 11.
Spinal Tap reference. I'm with you. Forest, meanwhile, though, pushing back through, does start to divide. especially with this position deep inside a connector. The defensive G2 finds the kill as well. Body does still menace ever so slightly with armor and an AK-47. And BK is a factor as well because they are starting back toward B. Trade from Kenny as Force does get body. Okay, yes, one AK down. Kenny's picked up another. It doesn't mean both are in the hands, but there's another one available on rotation should Shox head that direction, and he should because MBK will make the call that they are on toward B, but can't hit the shots on Draken. There's a good position, but just didn't have the accuracy to go along with it as Kenny misses a shot on the cross. Shox should grab the AK right now. There it is. But no armor to go with them. It might be a save call if they can't find a kill quite quickly. I mean,
they should
basically in the next 10 seconds.
They should go for this. They have enough money in the bank to buy next round anyway. This is a round that they could win. There's still enough time on the clock to get this, but with Shox walking, it doesn't really lead me to believe they want it.
Kenny's still going to evaluate. Makes some noise. Draws the attention as Shox goes on the high ground. Down goes Kenny. You mentioned they have the money. That's fine. But Shox needs to make an educated decision right now if he still fancies his chances. Maybe just tries to take players down with the bomb because there's really no escape for Drake, and unless he does that, Shox falls, bomb's not going to go off, time will expire, and switch into the next round with a lead now of 7-3 for NIP.
Yeah, really good recovery there by NIP, losing 2 players early, able to, you know, steady the boat, get back into that round and then recover and pick it up. They need that. They didn't, this could have been a half that throws out of control if they were to lose that one. They still have a lot of money in the bank, so not too many issues there. But right now, G2, they're grasping at straws. What is their attack? Now, the normal adjustment would be to do something aggressive. The fact of the matter is, if they don't have a predetermined aggressive move to go off here, I don't want to see them going one man at a time, pop flashes. I want to see a little bit more to it. I need something which is actually a big move, something which is going to get you map control and maintain it. If it's just the individual plays, that's not where I see G2 having too much success because the default is what I'd be expecting from NIP right now. 2 orbs from the G2 squad. MBK picking up the secondary. Can he reap any rewards with it?
Flames go to the top of the boost. They haven't been using the boost early. As you mentioned, Draken just likes to go straight up brawl style with the AWP. He's gone boost, I think, once. Get right went over after he found a kill at the main entrance itself, so Flames are fine, but it won't do much. Speaking of Draken, a fast pick again. Door opened by his teammate Rez. The Epsilon duo walks in and finds the kill as Kenny S with his AWP in the corner of Ame, missing a shot. That's going to be a problem. He knows the door's occupied. Thankfully, Apex has rotated in to guard the door because if they were able to bust in, no one else in the site, Kenny's a sitting duck in the corner.
Look, I'm perplexed at how G2 are looking so lackluster here, getting caught out in that kind of scenario. Why does Body need to over-rotate like that? They had A main control. There wasn't really any pressure anywhere else on the map, so you don't need to be moving around that much. And use your utility. You know Rez has been going squeaky. He's been opening it very early every time. I know you weren't expecting Draken with the AWP, but he did pop out. And now mid control is coming into play. This is just perfect color by number CS from NIP. Get a pick, get mid control, force the CTs to use utility, push them around the map, and then execute on a bomb site with the information in hand.
Just still trying to find out what's going on in middle. Discouraged from the peak until the flash comes in. Good first kill. No, I was going to say there's no way he gets time to reset with 3 players. But they do get time to rotate. NBK and Apex do so swiftly. Draken is able to at least recover the bomb, and it's back to the youngsters to try and open up the B site against NBK with the secondary op. Missed shot. The shoulder bait, they've actually crossed on it. He's realized it late, flashed off, can still go for a peek fast, and a fast flick. He does exactly that to Rez. Draken will try to claw back space, but with no time, he's just going to save the AWP instead. Better call. He could still be careful though, because, okay, never mind, excuse me, I thought Kenny was a lot closer.
He probably could have risked going for that pick.
Oh, Kenny!
Wow.
He took the first shot. I didn't think he'd get another in. It's through the door after the time.
Yeah, not so much of a big deal, because the money situation for NIP is looking... Can't hear myself.
There we go.
I'm back. All right, that scared me.
I thought I broke something.
Yeah, jeez. I'm new at this. Don't throw me on the bus like that.
That is sick, to be fair.
Yeah, that's a nice shot there by Kenny. This is the fact that they turned that round on its head, being down a man, shows the individual prowess of G2 really stepping up there. That wasn't anything that NIP really did wrong. That was just G2 hitting some good frags, and then MBK staying alive on that B side, delaying enough time, and then hitting that lovely little flick there was enough to secure the round. Body only having 1 kill. He needs to find his groove. Sometimes when you're not feeling it, it's hard to hit the timings. It's hard to find yourself in the right place at the right time. But he needs to get going for this team because they're behind the 8 ball right now.
Apex is the one that leads. Not surprising. He is very good on this map.
I'd love to see a quick adjustment here, Matt, because you're going up against 2 AWPs. So if you do like a relatively fast execute against 2 AWPs, you can normally catch them off guard. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a very quick A attack coming in. 4 players making their way through Squeaky Door. Kenny S is playing retake. So this could work in the favor of NIP. They're going to get the bomb site without any resistance at all and have a lot of utility left to hold them back. But I say no resistance. Apex opening up again. 2 kills from Highway to Squeaky Door. And now the A bomb site is open.
What a shot from Forrest. Not only have the A side open, being down 2 men, but to push back the player at Highway, get the kill, and secure space. As Forrest will go in behind the forklift. It's Shocks that serves to spoil. Let's get right plants for the open and the intention of using A main. Shocks will use it to his advantage first. Better as he pops out and finds Draken as well. They're closing the gap at 7-4 and about to be a 5th. Forrest definitely about to be a 5th because the flames at his feet. He'll smoke himself off, but that only gives away his position, and they fire into it with multiple bullets and find him.
I like the adjustment. They're trying to avoid the AWP. You know, they know that they play 1 AWP at each site and maybe more rifles around that middle section of the map. So the adjustment was nice. Apex just finding kills through smoke again. This guy, he just lines it up, knocks him down. Love to see it. Someone's yelling for an IP. Couldn't heard that. I heard that one.
I did. Almost sounded like a dying animal, but it was passionate. Smoke out to mid-garage. Shocks will immediately try and take advantage of it, get closer. They're boosting on the red crate, so if Shocks gets too careless and walks in, he could be found by Exist. This is why this boost does exist.
This is what I talked about just before the game, Matt. You know, being able to put 1 AWP at each side, having a lot of mid presence, 1 in the vent, 1 at white box, 1, you know, towards the pipe or under the boost. That's such a strong mid hold, right? They've gone for that early just in case of any NIP aggression. That's not to be. And the default just comes in. So what you want to try and do in this scenario is just identify where the AWPs are. You want to call out any utility that the CTs are using, and then from there, make a calculated decision on what the best execute could be. It looks like they want to take mid again as Brady's going to boost up 2 of the NIP players. Draken up there with the AWP. He's going to see what he can find.
Shocks inside of the vents. You mentioned they would try and use them to their advantage at some point in time. Good spray through. No Molotov, even if they're considering, but I guess the bullets are enough to scare Shocks away. After the initial trade, Draken flashed off, doesn't jump all the way off the boost, which is crucial. He can stay up there. They don't need to commit to putting him back in place. Molotov pushed Rez back at the very least. Get right, brings bomb ever closer toward A. 30 seconds, this will be the target. Shocks, good find on to Exist.
They're feeling it now, Matt, as the frags are just falling in the way of G2. Draken and Rez with a lot of work to do. Molotov going to come in. Going to push Kenny out of position, but Body's there. Takes down Rez, and now Draken 1-on-4 situation, AWP in hand.
Nip needs a bomb plant as well. Draken's going to try for it, get closer, 11 seconds. Surely he can't find one. Does nearly get a shot to Shocks, but bomb goes down, and no plant, 7-6. 3rd round loss bonus. Puts them on the, oh, I guess Forrest has enough if he wants to drop over the AWP, so does Exist. I was going to say they're on the threshold for AKs only, but if they drop it around and shuffle the guns, they can still make this work. Timeout called, and I imagine a lot of it is to discuss exactly that situation.
This round right here will be the difference between an 8-7 half in favor of NIP, or they could even get up to a 9-6 if they're able to convert this one. The money on the boys from G2 not looking too fantastic. Shocks only has 1,600, 2,900 on Apex, 1,700 on Body. But,
I'm gonna grab what you're saying. Actually, it's the difference between a potential 9-6 for NIP or an 8-7. I'm gonna say for G2.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, because if they lose this, the money's gone. I knew that's what you meant. I just thought
I didn't articulate it very well.
Yeah, I'd iron it out for everyone at home.
Speaking of ironing, shout out to Lothar.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna jump in on that one.
He'll be watching.
Well, back underway. Vuvuzelas?
I don't know, but I don't know if we can't hear them because we're in the booth or if the crowd's just quiet because it's the morning.
I think there's a frequency cut, so we don't hear them until they break a decibel level.
Oh, okay. Well, then they need to get a little bit louder.
Draken, AWP. Go to the door again. Another opening situation. Open to inward. Oh, that's the clever tactic. I remember Shroud doing that on his stream once. You put your back to the door, and the next player in line opens it inward, which is what they've done. That now gives Draken the angle into the site. That's clever with an AWP in that position.
Looks like it's going to be a double pump onto the A site here. They're just throwing their early utility. They still have 2 smokes left to throw that forklift smoke again, but Draken might find Apex here.
Oh, it nearly gets the chance. I really wanted it just to see that clever play work. Watch for the jump over red box. Apex goes for the reload. Get right holds position. He's got to hold position a little longer because they're not finding the kills necessary or required, and it goes 7-7, which means money is now in tatters for NIP.
And this is where we will see most likely the 8-7 come in for G2. Great recovery from them. Started with the pistol round, then there was a bit of a struggle for economy, which NIP actually surprisingly won, and went on to a bit of a stretch there, getting up to a 7-3 lead, I believe it was. And now G2 fighting back. They're biting back, and off the back of these double orbs, MBK having to pick it up again and actually getting a little bit of work done with it. I think Apex has been the hero for me so far this map. A couple of multi-kills in crucial rounds, steering the ship in the favor of G2.
There we go, through the smoke just before the second one blooms. They get in without losing anyone, but with substantial damage. Heavy wounds inflicted. Not since the pistol have they gone for the boost behind Quad. Actually, I should say the eco, not even the pistol. It's the round which G2 stole back afterward. Forrest finding Kenny. Them down a man. Good start considering the bomb's down and they don't have weapons. They've got to hold off their positions. They were lucky to find an open A site. This gives them a chance without the weapons, and so too does another trade back from Forrest as they continue to hold the advantage. Body, though, however, burns Draken. Stack toward Quad, no boost. They're going to try and play it with peeks and trades with this element of surprise, which Rez now has lost, and NBK up close with the AWP. Achieves success to make it the 8-7, just barely on the defuse.
Yeah, you got to give props there to the boys from G2 being able to turn that around. They did start with a rocky road, but to get back in it, win the half 8-7, have to be happy with that one. NIP looking good. They made some good mid-round decisions. There was maybe that one pivotal round where they actually couldn't convert over towards that B bomb site that let G2 back in it to some degree. But you know, good picks by Draken throughout that half. Get right looking on point with the rifles. Just need a little bit more from the squad now as we flip over to the CT side. It's hard to talk about adjustments they need, Matt, because it's just, we obviously haven't seen them start on the CT side yet. And
yeah, that's true. It's absolutely true because they've lost both knives.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Some teams just have this terrible luck with knife rounds, can just never convert them. We had some fun strats back in the day with the knives. We did super boosts and stuff.
Super boosts?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You know, like when you run with someone on your head and they get that bit of acceleration.
You lunge at them with a knife?
Yeah, we did it on Inferno. We tried to launch over their heads and land behind them. Didn't work, just died midair. But it was fun. All right, smoke in the kit for Get Right. That seems to be the standard go-to for him on the pistol rounds. Shocks with a P250 smoke and flash as well. This is very similar to Inferno.
To mention it as well, it was all momentum for NIP. They won 6 rounds in a row in the first half, but the last 5 have all gone to G2, and NIP had a good start on the T side, which given them a fantastic chance going over to CT, but problems will ensue if they can't convert early, I have a feeling, because, as you mentioned, G2, the frags were falling into place, and they nearly do again. Get right down to 2 HP, Draken on 15, but the first kill still goes the way of Exist. No bomb plant yet either, as Get Right chimes in to find Shocks. G2 is suddenly struggling. They will manage to get the bomb down eventually. NBK will not have position from A main to see it, however, because they had to go for the safe plant default, and they're going to wrap for the flank. They'll wait at the truck because Get Right cannot afford yet to be the martyr. They may elect to do so eventually, but not without teammates to bait out back and get information. MBK, good snap back around as he turns, tries to find another, but they're just overwhelmed and overrun. It's down to just Body in the backside of the site behind Quad, and it's NIP that get the pistol.
That round was so promising to start for G2. MBK up on the boost, finding both mid players. I think it was Get Right and Draken, gushing both of them, putting them down to sub 15 HP super early, and then being able to convert that one back in their favor was Exist opening up, Get Right with another one, and then from there the retake was on. 3-on-5 situation. Easy as that. And NIP with the pistol round. A chance to get in a commanding position here. I would love to see an eco coming out from G2. Give us the first gun round on that third of the half. Oh, they went for a timeout. Shocks misspelt it. So we're we're going live with the round anyway. MBK has picked up a Deagle. Flash on Shocks with the Glock. P250 on Apex and Kenny. So Little pounce attack probably coming in here at some point. Bomb being left at T-Spawn, one of my favorite things in all the Counter-Strike. Apex will pick it up, and they are heading towards A. This is risky, Matt. I don't like seeing someone play as forward as Draken without any form of support. I know we have Existed the truck looking over his shoulder, so to speak, but you can get isolated in a position like that by the pistols. That's the range that the P250 players love to fight at.
Well, we'll see if love and affection turns into love and war with the pistols if they can break into the sights. Draken door open, does fire quickly, quite frequently with the UMP. He's cautious of it because he knows the situation. If they walk in from A main as he's firing his ammunition away, he'll have problems. So instead, backs to quad, right call. He's able to pick up not only one, but two, and potentially a third kill, which has the bomb in the round as well as he gets a pistol kill. That's all good news for Draken because we know he wants the op early and often.
Now the question mark is, do we see him upgrading to that AWP? He must know a buy's coming. They were didn't have any head armor then. They know that. Does he just opt to stay with the UMP? And it looks like he will. And the buy has come through from G2. 2 smokes, a couple of flashbangs. Not a lot to work with, so we're going to need some heads-up Counter-Strike here. Some duels going in their favor. Retake A coming in earlier. It looks like they wanted to go for that mid boost, but the Molotov will force them away. Now they are going for it once more now that it has been extinguished or dissipated.
Angle for Get Right if they work toward the vents. Body would have to hit a one-hit wonder. As he pops up over and Get Right's aware of it, knows the angle. Quick check to make sure that he's not peeking out in front of the hut instead. Shox has bomb inside middle, and he's quite deep inside of mid as well. He's going to drop it behind the white box, but if Get Right wins even one of these duels, it becomes a problem for them. More so because they flash Draken back in for the vents. He gets taken down, but that's information for Get Right, and the player he was waiting to babysit is gone, so he can wide peek and find two, leaving the bomb exactly where it lie. And now a 3 versus 2 as NBK is going to give up the highway position and go for the flank. He's going to go all the way around. Do they have the information and awareness? They're going to give the consideration. Rez will watch as Get Right continues to peek out in mid. And it's all onto NBK. Low HP on 2. Both Forrest and Get Right are bleeding out. But a smoke down and they shots fired. They know exactly what he's up to. And they get close, they peek, and they take him down quickly. 10-8.
Great round there from Get Right. The fact he can pick out Get 1, and then the second on Shox, who is ready and waiting for him, stepping out for that frag is huge. And then to finish off with the final kill, bleeding out like that. Great round.
Slightly tilted on our replay. Or is that just me?
It's probably just us.
Okay. It looked a little sideways, but it was a good play from Draken. And again, like you say, Get Right was able to take the peaks as soon as the player advance went down. He'll go back to mid as well. Fancies his chances. Molotov on the boost. Back to the pistols for G2. Boost would have been okay, considering they have 2 Deagles, but instead they'll group and play the numbers game. The numbers game flashed off already by Draken. And he's got the number 9, the MP. The Shox gun, and Shox has a knife. Okay, I thought he was actually going to push through the smoke when we jumped over. I was like, is he really thinking about that?
Wants to get this round over and done with, obviously. Draken with their main control makes things even more difficult for G2. Only pistols in hand. This one, look, I've said it time and time again, and every time I do, the round seems to spiral out of control. But Get Right fighting for the white box. Going to find 1, 2, 3 as they line up. Shox pushing out Squeaky. No bomb. No chance. Nade comes in. 30 HP, easy as that. Now we're going to see the AWP coming out from Draken. He will be upgrading that MP9. I'll bet my house on it.
You have a house?
No. Oh, I have a Lego house.
All right, I'll take that as a bet. I'll take that as a wager. I would have lost because he does bring out the AWP immediately.
And on the other side, Kenny's got his, so maybe we'll see that battle.
Glass cannon, however, for Kenny.
It's a glass Lego house. Alrighty. Kenny heading towards the B side. Holding middle with a rifle for Get Right. You know, he's basically just, like you said the other round, babysitting that part of the map. His job is just to posture for as long as possible and give away information. But Kenny finding Drake and pushing B. That's an opening for G2 early in this gun round.
Draken's op continues to be aggressive. This time it's punished. Good read from Kenny to sit back. Smoke deep. Rez, does he just want to grab the AWP and bring it back into the fold? Or is he trying to contemplate pushing G2 back and giving them a second guess?
I'd love to see him push. Get stuck in, mate.
He'll fall back. They will boost inside of A. Do so silently. Smoke down to protect them, but could have been shot through from A. No one quite close enough to do so. Forrest, I would imagine, transitions back down highway at this point as well, because Get Right's also in the A site.
a lot on res here. So the gamble adjustment by NIP is to stack A, right? They've lost the man. They've gone, all right, we're not going to contest middle. We're just going to stack A and hope they execute onto us. But unfortunately for them, they are heading over towards the B bomb site. And Rez didn't even get that AWP. He can't get a pick and fall. He's in the site, which means he's going to have to duel. And the rotation from the rest of NIP is a mile away.
Rez trying to buy time with the Molotov. Any second helps because they're on 30 seconds.
Yeah, if they go B, man, I can just see NIP saving. Unless Rez gets multiple kills, it's just going to be a save call.
He knows they're there now, but Get Right and the rest on A are not moving, so you might be onto something, Chad, because this is all onto Rez. All onto Rez in headshot position, and suffers the fate of it in return. It's NBK with the kill. They are going to rotate around to at least CT, but how much further will they go is the real question as Forrest tries to fire into the garage behind the box. No one there to receive it. Get Right does the same and does decent damage to Apex, but I don't think he'll be aware that he did.
The fact of the matter is here, they should hang around for as long as possible and just try and find any exit kills, because the economy right now for G2 is so far in the bin that any kill will help. The issue that I have with this is it could turn into a retake, and they might actually try and sneak a defuse if G2 go for too many frags, and Forrest is going to find one.
Shock's position is key. Get Right is dead. I hate to say it.
Good night, Sweet Prince.
Shock's, yeah, was already on him. Sweet, sweet Prince.
Forrest is between what I would call a rock and a hard place.
Sounds comfortable. If it's slightly damp, you're a bug, an insect. Might be a cozy place. Safe.
From the birds.
And the weather.
All right.
And the humans to trample on you.
Only getting on the board in this second half. They need to string a few rounds together if they want to break the bank of NIP and build an economy of theirs that can continue and push them through into the later stages. I don't know if we're going to be seeing any of that throwaway aggression coming in from Draken again without a teammate or a flash or something along those lines. I see two players for NIP playing in the middle, so there's no early aggression, nothing too interesting coming out from G2 early on in the rounds. They're just defaulting, they're waiting for anything that might be thrown at them, spamming through the smokes, calling out utility, just doing the standard stuff. This is what you love to see.
And he's hoping someone would push the smoke in A main, but no one will. Patience from Exist. Get Right. Watching doorway all the way from highway can also support Draken. Rez not quite in the vents, but playing from checker. And the boost for NBK. Draken can wide peek it. Will he do so? They know he's definitely there now because the smoke goes out. He's actually going to give up the position, rotate it around. Get Right's going to play it with a rifle instead. So back to how they have been doing it in the past.
This is really scary for Get Right.
Oh, are they going to flash Exist into A main? They are. He goes around the corner. No one there. But that's misleading because they're still grouped at middle. It may encourage a rotation back toward it. In fact, they're going to concede. They're going to just give it up and play a split. Lots of space to split onto the B site. Thankfully, that's the one that's more fortified by NIP. And Rez is slowing them down, but not finding kills. Gets taken down. That opens up the vent position. And Forrest is stuck in the site. Molotovs will go beyond him. He's almost best not to peek. He's almost best to play this off of existing Get Right. Unfortunately, they are locked out by utility, and he's got to make a play because he's sitting behind the box with nowhere else to hide. Buys himself some space. They wrap in nearly a second shot and a chance for one. But G2's found around. I have to say, I don't picture NIP making a play back into this, especially with Get Right missing that shot and being blinded up.
I don't know what the game plan was there from NIP. Get Right was ready to push heaven. Exist was ready to push lower. The thing was, Forrest was undetected in the back of the site. If they had had a flash and both pushed through heaven and through lower and picked out, and even if they were just bait, that meant that Forrest could sweep out from a very advantageous position and probably find a multi-kill. Well, instead, what they did was let Forrest be the first engager, and as soon as he went down, then they pushed. It just didn't seem like the right string of people picking at the right time. I know the Molotov, sorry, not Molotovs, I know the smokes were up. You never really want to push through those, but when you have a man isolated on the site and you're going to go for the round anyway, you may as well throw everything at it. Yeah. That's what we see Gambit do. They're just throwing literally everything at the attack.
It's 100% guaranteed someone's going to push those choke points, so they're always going to be watching. It wasn't guaranteed that they knew Forrest was there. Headset back on for Smiths. You can talk in this freeze time, remember? Not really saying much because they are rolling again on the G2 side. 2 rounds in a row. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you look at the context of the game and the fact that they now have a chance to break NIP, and it would be 11-11 when they do so, it's a significant round in so many ways as Draken can't quite get the kill. Legs Kenny instead. He's tagged to 32 himself.
The fact is, your leg and AWP, he's still in the round.
Absolutely.
And he can go for a shot at any point. He doesn't need his HP, but Forrest taking Shoxes away. And that's the opening NIP need. They're still in a position to really hurt the economy of G2 here. And theirs is looking like it's on a knife's edge at this point. So anything in their favor for round number 22.
Kenny S. Oh, still trying to find an opening instead. MBK apparently gets exist. Quick fashion. That's leveled things back out and split the defense again. Apex as well is looking to get a shot up highway from on top of the hut. So elevated position to see exactly, and transitions as well. See exactly what's going on in A. But Draken's in position, nails the shot. Get Right does the same to Kenny, and he's pushed up still. They're gonna re-peek it. He's controlled it. Bomb goes down. NBK just has to sit from squeaky door and hope that the shots will align, but it's the Dragon again. He's fired back in and given another round to an IP.
Good adjustment there from Get Right, going with that A main aggression, really able to stop any split that was going to happen. Like I said at the start, this map is a chessboard. Once you lose middle, you have to take A main or you have to take B main. Some part of the map needs to be yours, and Get Right made that decision on his own and shut down the attack swiftly. Could be the last gun round here for either team for a while. Money not looking great across the board. The aggression straight towards B again.
They're already there. He was not expecting that at all. He's got to smoke himself off and try and get away. Kenny's ready for it. He'll fire into the smoke. Drake and will at least get back in. Just barely. The Molotovs are down. He's still got to run. He's still got to get hidden, and he just barely gets there. Thankfully, that Molotov is about a foot too close for body to peek. That could have been bad news early.
On a positive note for G2 here, they've already grabbed that map control. They should be expecting checkers to be relatively clear. They know the mid vent hasn't been broken, or at least the sound queue should give that away. They're already postured towards B. With the utility they have, with sunroom control, an attack could come in, but there are 3 players from NIP over towards that B bomb site, so they'll be running into the lion's den.
Minutes. They don't have to commit, but they seem like they are stuck on their ways given how much map control they got early, as you mentioned. Draken sits back sight. To play with him, they'll smoke off the choke points again. Forrest this time is not the man that's isolated. In fact, if you include that Rez is beside the AWP player, no one really is.
They just used 3 smokes and didn't attack. There's only 1 left and it's gone in again. The attack has to happen now.
They go. Rez lines them up. Only finds 1 body. Actually got the team kill. Call it 4-1, but Draken back sight. Already finds another. Swings out. Has lost track of the generator position, and Shox is able to punish them. It's all down to exist. Nade goes in to try and deny default. Oh, body. He was the one planting. Thankfully, if it was Shox or Kenny, the nade may have been enough. Exist at least will burn body alive. Gives him a chance, an argument in the matter. He's got a kit to work with, and a rotation back from Kenny S. He's going to play the long game on the AWP. This all comes down to Shox's position and read. Exist thinks he's gone underneath. He's not. He's actually playing back behind the box, so they're both waiting for the defuse to go for the last minute peek. Exists with the kit, has time to peek, goes to the AK instead of the M4. Spots up Shox, 1 bullet would have done it. Doesn't matter what gun he had. Flashed up, he's got to sit in the open. He's lost track of where he is.
That was great teamwork there. That flash coming in from Kenny allowed Shox to go for that peek and take down Exist, putting the round on the board for G2. Maybe a pause coming in here from NIP. The money situation is enough that they can scrap together a buy. There it is. There's the timeout. They need to talk through this one. This is such a pivotal round right now, Matt. And with Get Right and Draken fragging, well, as Forrest as well, those 3 players are doing a lot of work right now for NIP. You're not going to have the utility that they've so far been using very well. You're not going to get all your mollies. You're definitely not going to have your smokes. Diffuse kits are going to be very sparse. So big decision here. Very big decision. It's either just take a pistol buy, maybe, you know, get a couple of deagles. I guess if you're Forrest, you could buy a scout if you really wanted to, and then go into next round with a full gunny. But lots of talking going on from Threat.
Lots of talk, not a lot of time.
There's the buy.
8 seconds in the freeze time is what we have left, and there is the buy.
Put NIP onto Eco, potentially double.
Dragon down again. Doesn't spot anyone, but they are there every
already
time.
In sunroom. They're already there. This is so scary.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Rez! He goes down to a bullet, but nearly burned. As they threw in multiple Molotovs, Draken still in position. Kenny's got Get Right. They know he's in the back of the site. How does he control the situation as he waits for the rotation of Forrest?
they can fall back. They don't need to commit to this, right? They have the number advantage. They still have enough utility to go back and have an A hit. They don't know it, but they forced out a full rotation. It looks like they will be jumping back as Kenny goes around the corner, and they are worried about a push, which is fair enough because aggression was on the menu from NIP. They're just waiting. So right now, you know that NIP needs to go for information because all they know is, hey, there was an attack on B. We stopped it with that AWP kill, but what's happening now? And they need to go into a play to actually get a little bit more, to play some rotations to actually get themselves into an advantageous position, but that's not what they're opting for. I'm just going to send, I believe it is Exist in the back of the A side. He's just going to sit at quad. So if an attack does come in, he just needs to live, potentially stop the plant, give that information to his team, and allow Forrest and Draken to rotate as quickly as humanly possible. But all 4 members of G2 swiftly making their way towards that A bomb site. 30 seconds left on the clock.
Wait for Exist's timing. Forrest swings back, but he's isolated by smoke. He's going to try and go above the smoke onto the catwalk silently as well. As Exist, he waited perfectly in position, and Forrest has helped because he's found Shocks who went the other side, body. Either way, bomb down, and Exist suddenly has a prime position. A good piece of real estate, good information to find. Kenny needs to do so. Thankfully, he does get him before perishing. That's crucial, but NBK goes aggressive. No time. Dragon, he needs to stay alive, and he manages to do so and punish NBK after it.
That was so scary right there in the end. Caught in no man's land between the truck and the wall. Could have gone down to a stray bullet from MBK, but after the time, leaving him with 800 bucks in the bank. Not looking good for G2 here, who are now going to take a timeout in return. I think they have to buy, Matt. I think they have to force into this one. Try and take NIP, because if you can stop their economy this late in the game, you can win it from this point. So G2 needs to come up with a strategy right now that's going to work, that's going to be fast, it's going to be sharp, it's going to allow their players to be activated, because losing a 4-on-3 situation like that is not what you need this late on the second map.
Second map where NIP yesterday were able to accomplish an overtime on Nuke and started to come back in a series by which they had no say in the first map. It's a similar storyline, a parallel this time. However, they have the lead late in cash, and they've got pistols against them only. Play smart, play disciplined. UMP's up to build some cash for NIP. And they need to.
I don't know why they didn't go all in with the buy. You know, there's still a little bit of cash left over on Shocks, Apex, and Body. I wanted to see something fast coming out, and there it is. They come out middle. Body's going to trade right there onto Get Right. 4-on-4 situation early.
Rez backside B. A lot of pressure on B from G2. It seems to be the order of business for the day.
If they strike now, he's isolated, but Forrest is rotating back in. Molotov's going to push him back to the triple box. Flash is raining in as well, but smoke spam coming through. They're going to find MBK, but Apex onto Rez. Bomb site cracked open. It's going to go down, and now we're going to have a 3-on-3 after plant situation.
Dragon high in the sky with the AWP. Spread the dragon wings, but won't be able to go far. Smoke blocks off entrance.
Big
so
question,
fast play. Yeah, fast from G2 to get in with not much weaponry, and NIP don't have much money. It's one thing to save a few guns and concede the round. It's another if they all go down. They're going to go for it. Forrest still has one to watch. Kenny hits a shot that if he did not, meant 2 would fall. It does mean Exist, however, does get inside of the site. He's getting closer and closer to the bomb, but he needs Draken to babysit and hold off the guard. He's found one, he's got another. He's got all down to just Kenny in a one-on-one, but no time. He's got to back away. Even with the kit, Kenny will fall, which helps their case for money, but it means the round gone. And NIP's not much better off.
Jeez, everyone's got scrappy money right now. G2 actually in the driver's seat. They have more in the bank, and they're going to be able to pull out the better buy in this scenario. Not looking good for NIP here. We've seen Miracle plays with pistols all game. It has been a brawl. We did highlight that as a turning point, but this round right there for G2 is huge. This is their chance to turn the game around. This is their chance to close this out and put themselves in the grand final. Another pause. Got to really talk this one through, because if you force buy here and you lose, that's the game. You take the eco, you're going to have a scrappy buy next round regardless. So many question marks right now.
I'll talk this time from Smiths, which we didn't see earlier in the map. People take it on the chin. Try and replicate the success of the lack of weaponry that G2 had in the previous round. Second single AWP.
There's no right call in this scenario for NIP. This is a nightmare scenario, and Drake, and he's going to take it all on his back here. He's gone aggressive Squeaky Door with the AWP on his own. I would love to see exist in a buddy system with him a little bit closer to pick that up in case he does fall. But discipline being shown by this G2 squad, who aren't opting to go too aggressive. And maybe they heard that scope. Maybe they heard Squeaky Door open, but they're not giving anything away.
Inching closer toward A main, his body. Draken still waiting, has Get Right as well to play the bait. Play off of it. Flashes means AWP is distilled slightly from position. They're going that way. He's looking to look back to A main instead. Oh, a shot that he desperately needed, and he needed the other one as well in between both times. And he's off in time, and Get Right's found. He's a sitting duck. It's all gone. So many opportunities, and he just couldn't find the shots he needed. As Draken will fall, it's down to Rez and Forrest. P250s. He's close enough to MBK to punish with one. Good first shot. But Apex is in position. Perfect position to take back the ground, and unfortunately for Forrest, it will go to 13-13. He's going to try his best, but unfortunately that doesn't amount to much when he has no position or time to work with.
Yeah, you got to look at the money right now for NIP anyway, Matt. You know, 3,700, 3,900, 3K. What do you do? Do you scrap together a UMP buy? You can probably get one guy with an M4 and Kevlar, no utility really. Or do you take another eco? Do you give up 14 rounds? And it looks like they're going to do that. Couple of pistol upgrades, not a lot. Smoke on Get Right. Here's another opportunity for them to go for an aggressive pistol play, and 3 players pushing up. That could have been a nightmare scenario right there. Over the boost, they trickle as Shock's picking up 2. Apex with a 3rd. It's going to be a quick round.
Very quick if Kenny keeps doing that. Down goes Forrest, and this will give up the lead. It'll be 14 rounds G2 and pressure for NIP as they could bow out in the semi-final. Doesn't seem impressed by that thought. Exists, still contemplative as always.
This time, that means they really want to think this one through, because this game is on a knife's edge. This game could go either way.
Last time out call for G2, by the way, that's their 4th.
I love how teams are using these, Matt. We've slowly gotten to a point where they're using them so tactically. They're not only using them when they lose rounds to chill out, they're using them to actually consider how the game's going to pan out. They're using them very, very well, and I'm happy to see us getting to that point. I think everyone in the arena, at least 95% of them, want to see NIP in the grand final.
I think that's an accurate statement. But they've got 3 rounds they need. AWP for Kenny, AWP for Draken. Forrest pushing, smoke down at the garage. Again's gonna go over toward A this time, so not the fast play at B. Anchoring A solo allows more pressure on mid from NIP, and Forrest is back beside a smoke all the way up beside the garage.
This is normally a no-no. You never want to be by yourself in middle. Sure, he has support from the white box of Get Right and Exist ready to step out at any point in time, but you can be isolated. The smokes can come in, they can push you off the line, and then you're just hoping you hit your shots, and a lot on Forrest here.
Decent facial expression from Apex. To the doorway. Draken blinded, fires a shot. Door doesn't open yet, or does it? MBK has actually opened it to try and get a smoke out, but he's already blinded off himself. Take out this Draken as he tries to rotate back and get better lineage toward A main. Another Molotov. It's going to hit him square on the noggin, but Exist gets close because he needs to protect the AWP player by going in aggressively. Another shot through the legs, surely. And Kenny posts up with the op to respond. That could be a problem for Draken not hitting the shot, but thankfully for his sake, Kenny backs off in a 3 versus 3 to split the defense and evaluate elsewhere.
Indecision has been a bit of a menace for G2 in some of these rounds, but it looks like they've made up their mind and they want to go back to the B bomb side. They want to go into the arms of Rez.
Get Right might have a problem not knowing Shox is behind the box. If he even makes one wrong move or too much noise, Shox punishes. He'll pounce. Is Get Right's wisdom going to allow him to check the corner or not? Remember, there is a shadow position there. If Shox goes out, he'll be seeing the shadow favors. Get Right looks back in time to spot the shoulder as well. Now it's up to Rez to hold off the B site on his own. Behind the boxes, spots them coming in nearly. Misses out onto Kenny, but recovers. Unfortunately, he was overwhelmed in the fact that Body was also there, but Body's run out of time, tries to grab the op. He will stay alive. They don't need to pursue, but it brings us level at 14-14. There is still money on the G2 side.
Shox behind the box. Get Right makes him suffer in his jocks.
Like it. You're getting in there.
And now we see G2 on the back foot here. NIP being able to turn that round around. You spin me right round, baby. This is probably going to be the last full gun round we've got in this game, unless we're heading to overtime and that 16K situation on the cards. But
it's funny you mentioned that song that popped up on my browser last night. I don't know why.
Isn't that Kylie Minogue?
Say maybe.
She's Australian. Anyway, that round was the indecision I was talking about from G2. They should really just go with their gut. It looks like they're overthinking or over-talking situations, and they're not going as a team. When you're in those situations, the 3v3, on the T side, you go together, you have the number advantage, you can trade out efficiently. When you're running in on a 2-on-1, you're giving them a chance back in. I just want to see them next time they find themselves in that situation, going together, making a quick call and not messing about.
Okay, you ready? Get right. Be very careful. Molotov to the box, or excuse me, to the sandbags from Kenny should reveal to Get Right that someone is on the boost and had thrown that. Can't imagine he'll overpeak the position at this point in time. He's been very disciplined, Get Right, using the rifle inside of that position. That connector, a flash through the smoke.
I think it was a team flash as well that pushed him off.
Yeah, exactly, because he was considering it, I think.
We've seen this B split work before, but Forrest actually being at drip, very deep. Pounce at any time if an attack does come on body. Does he know anything's up? As he will try and check his control himself. A duel is about to ensue. Forrest picking out, catching body, looking the wrong way. Number advantage for NIP.
Very different angle again for Draken to play inside of the site. AWP at forklift. He's missed a few shots, I have to say, crucial shots on the A side of the map. He's ready this time. Finds Kenny and turns around, and by his behest, he'll unleash the Dragon's Breath. Down go two from G2, but MBK is still trying to work inside of the site. There's nowhere for him to go, and it's math point for NIP.
This game has been tight the whole way through. Back and forth, finally finding themselves on match point, like you say, Matt. Money not that bad for G2. Kenny can get this off, but it hasn't been hugely effective. Even though he is top fragging, it's not like they're cracking open bomb sites with it. And even with when they do, it's the bad decisions, the poor mid-round calls that are costing them rounds. We aren't seeing the op getting picked up. We've got 3 AKs, a Deagle, and a CZ. And they're not opting for that B site, Matt. This is where we did see weakness from NIP, and they're still just heading in that default spread. And I think NIP at this point in the game, they don't need to make any aggressive plays. We've seen them holding strong. We've seen them stopping these attacks. And they're opting to go for that again.
Forrest already in middle, will push back. As always, Get Right sitting in position, this time with an AK. Not just the M4, 2 pistols, G2. I know that sounds like a great situation for NIP, but they've struggled against them, and we know G2 is very capable. Taking advantage of situations such as these. 1 round to go, and we get a 3rd map. Draken rotates back up. 3rd map of Nuke, by the way, if NIP fans. As NIP fans, I'm sure they'll love that. G2's clever on it, but NIP have proven to be their old Stableworth. With a flash toward A. Thinking this time cannot hit the shot toward the door, but knows MBK's there, so Molotov to hold him at bay.
The nerves have to be there for G2 right now. They're probably feeling they've felt this one slip through their fingers. When they get those full guns going with attacks on, it's just a pounce on the B side. They're pushing straight in. Rez caught off guard.
How does he stay alive? If he had found a kill there, he'd done way more than he was worth, considering the damage. Overtime might be on the cards again. It's the 2 pistols and rifles and the fast play. Good shot from Get Right, but it's only worth 1. Better entrance from Exist. That gives NIP footing, and a better footing as Draken again on the AWP, but it's down to just T remaining, and he's just sitting in the open as MBK rotates around. We are not done. Additional rounds needed again for NIP to get a second, or their first, but in the 2nd map of a series.
Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, Matthew. I got another one in there. I got the Matthew in there as well.
That's good. That was all Bible. Yeah, biblical references.
NIP are going to be happy they get the 16K going in their favor. Will they pick up a 2nd orb? Will they put it on Forrest? Because this game, there has been so many situations, so many rounds where the team with the lower economy, with the worse off buy, have been able to come through as victors. Both teams are going to be shaking their head because they have had points where they could have just won the game. They could have just crushed the economy, taken them out, and pushed ourselves to potentially a 2-0 or a 2-1, going over to that 3rd. We're not going to see the double AWP, but we are going to see a full buy from both squads. This 16K allows us to see full gun rounds. This is where we can see if G2 have any set strats they want to run, anything that they didn't have enough money to do before. But it is just going to be the default spread. Once more, Kenny heading over towards Squeaky with that AWP. He might go for a Draken type play. And there isn't any aggression coming out from the likes of NIP. This is where you need to actually see them happy to go with it, happy to actually take those risks, have some config level balls.
With more brains.
Well, overtime's the place to show it, if anywhere, right? This is where we get, once you start making it, it's just about the individual plays.
Not to make a dig at config, it was just that knife was so risky. I know what you're referencing. Forrest gets reverse drop. Opposite side of where he has been playing inside of middle, if that's anything to catch off G2 with.
It's like they just do a dance at the start of the round. You know, bit of back and forth, a couple of bullets exchanged, nades thrown left and right. Now we're going to get into the thick of it as we tick sub 1 minute. Forrest is going to be in a position of action right now. Molotov's come in to flush him out of position, but he is just under the boost. Will they expect him here? Will they check?
Shox checks the cubby, but not this position. This could be huge. For Forrest, Shox goes down shoulder peek. He knows he's there. He's shot and he's sitting in the open. He needs to kill now. He needs to kill right now because he'll be pushed out from the main garage from Kenny. Exactly that. And Kenny had to be careful of when he did that because Get Right was also watching from the white box, but unfortunately, as he was revealed, Forrest had nowhere to go. And where to go for G2? Well, B again. Rez.
20 seconds.
Molotovs them off. That'll buy some time. They've got to go through it. Apex takes a fraction of damage as he works around toward Checker instead with bomb, but traded immediately. Body's opened up the site and Get Right is smoked off. It should be a plant at the very least. Or will it? Oh, that is close. 7 seconds, excuse me. I can't. Our TV's aspect ratio, it looked like it was on 6 seconds, not 8 when I saw that, so I was a little worried.
That was real close regardless. If Get Right pushed and taken down the bomber, that was no chance the plant was going down. Kenny's going to find Exist, peeking from heaven. 2-on-4 situation. As the CTs have 16K, they should go for this. Get Right finding Kenny.
Gets Get Right immediately back. Those was always the trades for G2, not tradable this time. Kraken works his way forward. Has the kit to work with. Already wrapping the corner, checks it immediately! Oh! He's got the shot on Body! He knows exactly where the last player is. No smoke to conceal the fact that he wants to go for a full defuse, and MBK's gonna peek it anyway. AWP ready, misses the shot, and MBK will pull it back. What an effort from Draken, but the round G2, 16-15.
Definitely worth going for, you know, with that kind of money. It's every round you can go for. Every round is exciting. You get that time and time again. A buy coming out. Once more, up in the hands of Draken again. Still only opting for one. Forrest not going for that secondary AWP. Let's see what kind of attack they come in with here. I want to see some aggression. I want to see NIP take a risk because this default spread from G2, you can definitely pick someone off. There is you can find a break in the chain. Oh, that's an interesting little spam battle there on top of the red box.
Yeah, that's one that's been fixed, by the way. Remember that.
Body spam, yeah.
Well, body spam, yeah, but it was due to a glitch in the first detection of bullet, and it was basically allowing too much damage to go through that wall. Yeah, that's true. I forgot all about the body bang. We would have seen that a million times in this game if they hadn't patched that.
Mo did one yesterday that was from T-Spawn. I think he did like 40 damage or something. Am I thinking of Mo? Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
There is another one you can do. You line up with the back fence and fire through both garages, and it goes down basically beside the hut and into connector.
So we've identified that B appears to be either a little weak spot for NIP or somewhere where G2 are more comfortable taking at this point. And the adjustment that's been made is Forrest and Rez both playing over towards that part of the map. Forrest actually was in the vent. He's just been Molotoved out of position. So both in checkers right now. G2 are happy to run the clock down. Online during Pro League, we saw them lose a lot of rounds because they ran the clock down too far. Hasn't been the case here. They've managed to get the bomb down in enough time, round and round again. We're down to 30 seconds and not even close to a bomb site as Apex finally opening up. Rez going to trade out one onto Body, and now they have to make a decision. They have to pick a bomb site. That bomb is still in limbo right now.
Good shot, Apex, as he divides all the way through middle. Draken is fast to go back and find Kenny. He's got problems, though, because they're heading toward truck. He doesn't exactly know where to go right now. You can see the hesitation as he tries to find space, but he finds it effectively, taking down MBK. Forrest will apply pressure by getting Apex. That's the flank, and Draken is stepping up in overtime, as this time he will win the round with 3 kills.
How is he such a menace in those situations? Just playing around the smokes, maybe puffing his own.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Getting enough kills to secure NIP that round. You know, when Apex breaks it open like that, if that was early round or if we had 50 seconds left on the clock, things could spiral out of control. But because you're rushed into the situation, because G2 are forced to make a decision, you know where they're coming from, you know what their decision is, and Draken's right place, right time, grabbing the frags, res. Sneaking across, actually, getting to that aggressive position. They know he's there. You have to assume something's up, and they've actually moved the AWP over to this side of the map, expecting a B attack. Ryzen is more forward position, finding one. Another opening early for NIP.
One-man advantage to take a one-round lead.
Crowd loves it.
Naturally expected. Rez, give them something more to cheer about as he takes down Shocks. Flash toward Apex. Bomb is still inside of the big garage. Kenny, meanwhile, is peeking toward A. Apex getting Forrest from the mid position on Bomb. Is actually going to head back over toward B. They're hoping that MBK can cause rotations, and a little bit of utility will pull a rotation. It has gotten Get Right closer.
Apex with another one, 3-on-3 situation.
That's Rez getting aggressive, trying to push back out to get information. He doesn't necessarily need to do so. MBK in with a flash.
He's on the side already.
They've pushed NIP all the way off it. Exists, good shot to Apex, drops Bomb temporarily. Kenny immediately on the trade, throws Bomb across. He's going to keep the AWP in position, but what he doesn't realize, or does he, is that Get Right is against the wall, just sees enough of a foot to fire, and it's Draken again that has to step up for NIP. His third straight round in overtime, he has to do so. He's 1 for 1 in success so far. Bomb planted wide, he knows that means A main is a factor. MBK is in a perfect position as well to jump over top of the red crate, and Kenny is going to get it beforehand. It's G2 with the one-round lead as we swap halves.
That post plant was played really well. Obviously, there was the fear of the player pushing into the bomb site, stopping the plant there, but Kenny with the sixth sense, able to pick that up. That was really big. Nathan MBK playing on the little box, ready to jump over on red, looking towards forklift push was really cool. He could also cover off A main as Kenny played in the lockers, so really smart post plant play by these two. That's the synergy you want to see, especially when the pressure's on that right now, and Shocks barking orders, getting the boys ready. What are we going to see come out from their CT side? I would love something just completely out of the box here. Just catch NIP off guard. Let's go 3 aggressive B with rifles. Let's do something you know they're not going to expect, because at this point in time, the pressure is on NIP. The double ops again, and this is where they did find success. This is where MBK was able to pick up a round or two, show that he has a bit of prowess as that secondary op, but can use it a bit like a utility player, and the mid Molotov coming in will slow Draken's attack down over the boost. Like you mentioned, Matt, he wasn't playing the boost too much, but now he's opting for it early.
It's the one time he wants to use it that they Molotov it again. Trying to position as well. Shock's getting a lot closer in mid. We'll go back inside of the vent because it was already blown out for him. Not going to drop out of it. Get Right, meanwhile, already in B. Smoke gone. They have no idea he's that close. Shocks could bust the vent behind him and try and take it back. He's still inside of the small pit. This will bring in the rest of NIP. They have to be cautious. They don't know Shocks is there, and their backs are turned. He could be a problem if the timing is right. Timing should be a now. NBK, he's caused distracting. Shocks is gone. They've not heard the vent because of it with the AWP firing, but Exist is at the ready. And it's all down to Kenny S, who is smoked off. AWP has no clean access. Bomb's not planted. NIP is going to slow things just to be sure. They're not caught off by Kenny's op. Toss toward the default. Lots of time to figure this out and get the bomb in position. So smart and slow pace from NIP. Kenny, he'll fancy it. No reason not to in the MR16, or MR316K, excuse me, overtime. That's a bit desperate.
It works.
Works, but hard to...
It doesn't look like it should, but it does. I think, you don't expect Shocks to, not whiff, but you expect him to at least convert one of those frags, and could put Kenny in a 1-on-3. Still not very likely to win, but he's going for this attack. Takes down Drake, and Get Right will finish him off. 17 pieces of each here.
Balls from Get Right as well to just walk into the B site.
These are the risky plays you have to make in overtime. When nothing else works, you've just got to hope that your players can step up, hope that they can give the in-game leader and the coach a couple of plays that they've been working on, or, they feel the game. Your players are the ones who have been taking on these situations time and time again, but you talk about Get Right and Draken, or Draken. They're the boys at the top of the scoreboard, 30-plus frags each, doing a lot of work for NIP right now, and they want to go for that B main control again. Smoke comes out, Molotov to follow, Apex push behind Drip by himself. BK in the site to assist, and one player moving over and Shocks the vent. This is a 3-man pronged attack, or I suppose defense towards the B side. Default spread again. So that time and time again.
Bomb dropped in the default toward A main. And they are slowly grouping in that position as Body stays behind the forklift. And Kenny with op number 2, op number 1, I guess, if we're going to give him his primary position. Sits at the ready. Get right, as always, will wait toward B. Unfortunately, can't find 1 of 3 kills, and they know he's alone. They've already immediately fallen back for the rotation. It's a long way to go, and IP should have capitalized the opportunity and gone, because it was only 2 in the site. They are going to start to move the G2 players around, but not enough movement toward Kenny, as he finds 1 shot, a lag on Forest. He's tagged down by Apex, and we're getting closer to map points for G2 in overtime. They've got it now 18-17.
I don't want to get on Body too much, but he's made a few dumb decisions. Like, he must have known mid was open. He had 3 players towards that B bomb site when they went for that aggression, and then he's still taking a pick from Forklift and then jumping back, assuming no one's highway, going down to Forest. That could have spiraled out of control just because he wasn't thinking. They do convert the round, so it can't be too harsh. Kenny stepping up with the AWP, but that aggressive move towards B mid-round, that's what you want to see. That's the on-the-fly calling that we need coming out from these guys, taking advantage of a tendency that Get Right has. And early NIP look like they're heading towards B. 3 players posturing over that side of the map, bomb in hand. Nade damage, chip damage coming out from G2. MBK's been a bit of a hero with this AWP. He's actually done a lot of impact frags. You know, he's not towards the top of the scoreboard, but he's done a lot with it.
Get Right has to be very careful. He crosses. MBK's in the opening, misses the shot. Doesn't even get a 1-for-1 because of it, because Apex is perfectly positioned. Forrest can do nothing of it. He's late to the vent, but he has mid to work with if they want to go back toward A. Problem is, Kenny is staring in that direction, a man down.
The AWP from Drake can open up that avenue of middle, but quickly traded by Kenny, and now the number advantage definitely in the favor of G2. HP for MBK not looking fantastic, but he has the AWP, so it's not a huge factor here, and it has to be an A attack. 50 seconds left on the clock. It looks like they're just waiting for any aggression, any G2 players who are going to take that risk and push and play for info, but it's not going to happen. They're rooted in position.
A tall order as well to take A, because literally speaking of height, Body is high above them.
That's key. That's almost a round-winning boost in this scenario, unless Rez is going to check. He can get in front of the box, and he can peek the feet of Body here. He hasn't checked it. He's in the right position.
Timing. Kenny shuffles out. Body on the box.
There's no time, Matt. There's no time.
There's very little time. Enough time that they can spray them down. Good response from Draka, but it's too late. Bomb's on the deck. Bomb is on the deck with 8 seconds. It's done. It's already over. G2 are going to the finals 2-0 against NIP in Malmo, defending champions. Unable to succeed this time against their French counterpart.
Well, Apex really happy there. A little dance towards the end. That was some good counter-strike coming out from both squads. Overtime matchup, one to be remembered. I think pistol round wins across the board, some fantastic individual plays, and in the end, G2 too good.
Too good, I would agree. Just barely on cash. It was close. NIP had the lead, lost a little bit of the economic control, managed, I think, to take good timeouts. I agree with a lot of existence timeouts to talk about the situation, how they were going to buy and approach it. But in the end, overtime, they get overpowered ever so slightly. But hats off to NIP. Talk about the upward trajectory and changes made. The 2 young players they brought in has made this team, it's not a splash in the pan as it used to be. We used to see flurries of NIP. Yeah, they won Oakland. Yeah, they won Malmo. As the crowd salutes their home team. This, I think, is actually something we can look forward to. I see consistency on this roster that I think can build into something.
I don't know if it was you who said it yesterday, Matt, but they're definitely geared up to be the best Swedish team that we've got right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
NIP, the best Swedish team. I think you can say that without a doubt at the moment. And like I said, props to them. I'm definitely looking out for them in the future.
Yep. Well, and it's only going to be a future that continues to be bright. But G2 is into the final, their first one in quite some time. A team that I was calling out earlier in this event saying they weren't exactly the team we